everybody, and welcome back to Vidane TV Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. in the broadcast booth once again here for a little Tuesday night action. The return of the Liberty Racing League. We're kicking things off with a bang. A big bang. Big bada boom. Daytona 500. The Vidane.net 500. Presented by the Liberty Racing League. 200 laps on the docket here tonight. $100 on the line here tonight. And that WWE, AEW Professional Style Wrestling Championship belt, that's on the line at the end of the season here. But you can't get to the end of the season without first starting it. Take a peek at this starting grid here as these drivers get lined up down there on the safety of pit road. Hopefully, these drivers not going to spend too much time down there as they are going to be getting ready to go green flag racing here. But you can take a look. Bobby Anderson, Mr. Anderson, on top of the board in the number 18 car with a 50.065 flat flying around the 1.5 miler here at Daytona International Speedway. Nathan Brown, the 38 machine from Pennsylvania, going to be starting on P2. You can see Michael Hicks in the 76. The first Ford in the field going to start that Southern Outlaws machine in P3. Mark Brown right outside of him in the 73 starting P4. And you can see the rest of the starting grid on the screen there. Kevin West in the P5. Rob Collier starting the O2 machine. Seen him in a lot of different leagues throughout the racing action here on Vidane TV. Seen that name pop up a time or two. And a familiar name with Vidane Racing, Vidane TV, and Sim Racing as a whole. The rowdy one, big boss man here at Liberty Racing, Rowdy Wesley Hogan to start in P7. Nick McClellan right outside of him. Highest qualifying Canadian in the field there. Nick McClellan going to start the 12th car up towards the front. Jason Posky right in behind. TJ Floyd, Chad Lannister throughout the car. If you're counting them as they go by here on pit road, 31 cars starting this race here this evening. As you can see, Taylor Laskowski can start the 83 car, P13 rather. Darren Mack back there as well. Jax Duval crawl in the 84. Oh, a little trouble there for the 52. It's going to be Don Ashton going to get things sorted up as everybody else gets tightened up towards the front. These drivers all lined up on the back straightaway. 2 by 2 all the way throughout the field. We're going to be doing battle for 200 laps. 500 miles. We hope you got yourselves a nice, cold, refreshing beverage and, a way to refresh those beverages here throughout the evening here. Going to be a long one here tonight. We're going to be live and interactive here on Vidane TV. We're on the YouTube page. We're over on the Facebook page. We're over on Twitch. We're on Twitter. We're all over the place. Give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a follow, and, oh, by the way, it's getting chilly out. Make sure you get yourself a Liberty Racing League hooded sweatshirt just released at Vidane.net. Use that promo code LIBERTY for 10% off. And that is going to be all season long here with the Liberty Racing League. These cats racing each and every single Tuesday night. But there you see it, the pace car. He's going down. He's getting down to the safety of pit road. A green flag flies. We're racing here in this one. Daytona, 500 miles, 200 laps. Brought to you by Vidane.net. We're green. Bobby Anderson holding on to that P1 machine, the Gravedigger number 18 car. Awesome paint scheme on that Anderson ride. Mark Brown in the 73 right in behind him. Wood-fired pizza. I hope he's got some in the car after the race. But, well, maybe not after the race. That's going to be a couple hours down the road. We'll have to see if we can get hooked up with his sponsor. Love a good wood-fired pizza. Rob Collier right in there behind him in the O2 machine, trying to get up a little bit closer to the front. You can see single file for about 5 or 6 cars down there on the bottom side, lined up next to that double yellow line, and it gets a little bit squirrely in behind them, about 6th place on back. A couple of drivers up on that high side, and 3 to be exact, trying to get some things put together, get a little drafting help put together to see what they can make happen up there on the high side. And there you can see down on the bottom side, the Cold Bohannon machine. You got to check him out over on Twitter, on Facebook. Professional wrestler, indie wrestler down in Florida. It's crazy that he's on Wesley Hogue. So do we break that fourth wall here? I don't think so. Wesley Hogue running in P8 right now. As you can see, these drivers pouring on out of the corners into the straightaway. Beautiful sunset here in Daytona, the virtual Daytona. I'm up here in cold Connecticut. It's cold southern New England. It's about 28 degrees outside, and man, the action is heating up towards the front. You can see that wood-fired pizza machine getting close in on the Gravedigger ride. Anderson up front, Brown, Collier, Hicks, and Brown, the top five as they run. These drivers doing everything they can in the beginning of this one to kind of do a little bit of homework, try and figure out what they need to do to be in this race at the end of it. 200 laps, 500 miles is a long, long way to go here at Daytona. Green flag flying so far here for 4 as we cross the stripe, and Anderson still holding on to it. Not too much of a challenge in behind him just yet. You can see a little bit still spread out there up on that high side being led. That's going to be Michael Hicks in the 76 machine. Wesley Hogue now off top, and we're going to take a look as they go by. I believe that's Taylor Lasowski on the outside line as well. New paint schemes here this season, new cars as well, and we're not new to the Liberty Racing League, but we are new to the series, this particular Super Speedway series. Going to be going through a couple of different tracks. Obviously, the Daytonas and Talladegas. I believe we make a stop at Atlanta at one point or another throughout the season, but the big thing is we rotate different cars. So it'll be these new generation style cars. Next week, Talladega, it's going to be in the Xfinity cars. After that, it'll be the Truck Series, so on and so forth. And it really adds a big mix. It kind of evens the playing field just a little bit. There you see that is the 83 car, Taylor Lasowski on the outside, and that's going to be the 3 car right up in front of him, Jason Foskey, holding on to that spot there. The 49 car climbing steadily up into the top 10, trying to beat the door off the top 5. You can see down on the bottom side, 5 spots gained here for TJ Floyd in the number 49 machine. And you can see these drivers all over the racetrack trying to see what they can do to get up towards the front, to get into the top 10, into the top 5, get themselves into good track position for later on in this one. Going to be going through a couple of different pit stops here in this, as you can imagine, 500 miles, a long race here at Daytona. High side getting put together just a little bit more. A couple of drivers jumping on up, knowing that it's early on in this one, but they have all the time that they need to get up towards the front. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and study what everybody else is doing, how they're quick around the racetrack, how they're slower, and what they need to do to kind of get down and around and up towards the front. As we continue to go through the field, you can see a good shot there. Matt Teller in the number 2 machine. Chad Lancaster back here for 22. Beautiful paint scheme on that one for that driver down in New Smyrna. Jared Boyer, been championship contender in many of these Super Speedway series. In fact, won the championship a few years back in the Main Racing Super Speedway series. Darren Mack and the 59 up in this group as well. A little further on back, there's a handful of cars back here as well. Matthew and Elliott Swope going to be in the 82 and the 42. Leading this one, Michael Carpenter right in there in the number 5 car, holding on as well. Paul Buchanan there, kind of biding their time right now, doing a great job, just seeing how hard they can push and what the cars are going to do, how they're going to react with each other. There's a good shot of the 24 car. Beautiful napper ride there for Donovan Gerald. Michael Rogers right in behind him. Taking a little bit of time here, folks, to kind of go through and familiarize ourselves with some of the sponsors and paint schemes throughout this field here. First race of the season for the Liberty Racing League drivers. 500 miles, 200 laps on the docket, and $100 on the line for the winner. There's a 52 car of Don. Looks like Wesley Hogue off track just a little bit. Looks like might having some connection issues there for the rowdy one into 58. We're going to take a peek back up towards the front. As you can see, Bobby Anderson still holding on to it, still 1 and 2 between Anderson and Brown. The 18 and the 73, Rob Collier still there in the 02 ride as well. Nathan Brown, TJ Floyd, currently the top 5. We didn't mention that 49 car up in P5, the black, white, and green machine there on your screen. Moving moving up towards the front. Qualified back in 13th position, currently running in 5, net gain of 7 so far for the 49 car. I don't think we've seen the end of that bright green car. High side seems to have thinned out just a bit. 3 cars, now 4 cars up on the high side. Kind of holding on to it, not quite pushing the issue just yet. Being allowed by Foskey on the 3 car. And you can see Matt Tucker on the 2 car. He's come with a big run up into the top 5. Now 15 spots gained for that number 2 car. Seeing if we can take a peek. There you see it. Moving up towards the front and trying to make a little magic happen up on that high side. But right now it really seems like that bottom side. Lots of good equal spacing throughout them working together. You can see they're going to try and get around now the outside. The 2 cars all the way up, rim riding around Daytona International Speedway. But the rest of the cars in behind him, going to tuck in behind the 3 of Foskey in that middle groove. Move up to the front. Contact between the 2 car and the 76 car. 76 car goes around. Going to bring out the very first caution flag here for the evening. And big damage there on the nose of the car here for the number 76 car. Caution flag flies at Daytona. So we'll back up the old instant replay. Kind of saw a good a live shot there just a little bit, but U-House Racing Designs jumping on board here with the instant replay. We're going to take a peek at this one, and we'll see if we can get ourselves a good camera angle with this U-House Racing Designs instant replay. And as you can see, we got ourselves a couple of cool little drones and lots of different camera angles here, brought to you by TrackCams22.com. Be sure to check those guys out for certain. But we'll take a peek here, and we're going to do a little slow motion action here. You can see there's the 76 car. We're going to go full speed here. You can see 2 car up top, and as the 76 car and the 2 car, they get towards the corner, and they're 3 wide here for just a little bit. And it's just a couple of drivers really going for the same piece of real estate there. And you can see damage actually doesn't look, well, it didn't look too bad, but another big hit there for the corner of the 76 car. Beautiful paint scheme on that ride as well, but unfortunately going to have to try and bang some of the virtual sheet metal down there on pit road. And still up front, Bobby Anderson holding on to it. Mark Brown, Rob Collier, Nathan Brown, and TJ Floyd currently the top 5. Pit road, a very busy place here on lap number 11-12 as they cross the stripe. You can see pit road as just about every single lead lap car. Looks like the 51 car, Christopher Kurt's going to stay out and maybe try and lead a couple of laps, but everybody else coming down here to get some tires, to get some fuel, maybe make a little bit of an adjustment, and maybe get themselves a little bit of the virtual sheet metal straightened on out there. You see at least 2 tires for the 18 car of Bobby Anderson. A couple of 2-tire stops being led by the 02 of Rob Collier, TJ Floyd, Kevin West, all 2 tires. Jason Foskey going to be the first driver with 4. Taylor Laskowski, Jason Duval, Bobby Anderson comes out in P8. Matt Telder and Nathan Brown going to round out the top 10. Great racing off of pit road here. And with 1 driver staying out on track on the older tires, Christopher Kurtz. We'll see if he comes down after leading a lap, or if he's going to maybe roll the dice here just a little bit and see if he can get a little magic happening for himself. We'll revisit up towards the front. There you can see a great shot, the U.S. Air Force, numero 51, Christopher Kurtz. Staying out, 12 laps on those tires. Cool looking paint scheme there. Look at that. We got some Christmas lights, a couple of snowflakes on that. Very cool. A little festive, happy holidays coming up. Merry Christmas, happy Thanksgiving. We had Thanksgiving. No, we didn't. Yeah, we did. Just had Thanksgiving, coming up on Christmas, New Year's, and lots of snow and all sorts of good stuff. But very cool to see. And we want to thank everybody again for tuning in here at TV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the broadcast booth. And we are doing the very first race of the season here for the Liberty Racing League. And having ourselves a very first caution on lap number 11. Came out Christopher Kurtz staying out on track on older tires. Rob Collier, TJ Floyd, Kevin West, and Jason Foskey winning the race off pit road. Bobby Anderson actually going to come back down pit road in that 18 machine. And that's interesting interesting dynamic. Might just be topping the fuel tank off here with one to go. Mark Brown going to do the very same, as he was the P2 driver up earlier on in the race, but not so much anymore. And we will talk to a lot of these drivers throughout the race here under cautions, and at the end of the race talking to the top 3 drivers here as well. So if you got any questions for any of these drivers here throughout the rest of the race, be sure to drop in the chat. We're going to try and be live and interactive throughout the evening. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. And shoot on over to Verdane.net. Get yourself a hooded sweatshirt, hat for Liberty Racing League, Angry Tree Guy, rent a race car, all sorts of brands and logos and fun stuff over at Verdane.net. Use that promo code Liberty for 10% off on the final purchase there. And again, thank you so much for joining us here on a Tuesday night. We are getting ready to go racing once again here as these drivers heading on down the back straightaway, getting on in to 3 and 4. And these drivers give themselves a little bit of a stretch at this point. You grip the wheel just a little bit tighter. You've had yourself a good 10-lap run or so. You know how the car's going to react. And now, for the most part, you've got fresh tires. You've got a little bit of a reset. And you've got another opportunity to try and climb your way up towards the front. We're going to be racing in pitch black nighttime here in just a couple of hours' time as we race into the sunset here. The pace car going to dip down to safety of pit road once again. Going to pull up the broadcast on the tablet here for Verdane TV. Kurtz and Collier up in the front. Remember, Kurtz 13 laps on that set of tires. Green flag flying once again, and that right there is in fact a restart that the 51 car needs. A little bit clear down on the bottom side. The 02 car going to slide on up the P2. Rob Collier now sets his sights on the back bumper of that 51. We'll see if those tires even themselves out as we get into this run. But you can see still getting down to the bottom side of the racetrack very quickly here. Single file down the bottom. Just a handful of cars up on the top side as we look through the field. Kurtz, Collier, Floyd, West, Laskowski, the top 5. Bosky and Brown right on the outside looking in. And it's all the way back to about the place position. That 2 car very aggressive as we can see. Matt Telder doing a great job up on the high side, moving towards the front, going where the other drivers are not. As you can see a little bit of air braking there. Moving on up, not quite a block, just kind of messing the air up a little bit, but it does not seem to be slowing that 2 car down as he climbs his way up towards the front using that high side. You can see the 76 car. Big time damage from earlier on, but still doing very good. Michael Hicks recovering nicely on that high side, up just outside the top 10 right now in P11, sliding back in on that bottom side, kind of leaving the 2 car up on the top to take a peek and see just what it is that's going on and how he's going to get himself up towards the front. These drivers in fact know that it's a long race, and you see that here as these drivers start to get a little bit single file. And you see kind of breaking into a couple of different packs. You can see up towards the front, we're looking at 12, maybe 13 cars in this lead pack as it starts to fizzle out, and you can see a little bit further on back, there's 6, 7 cars hooked up as well, being led by the number 44 car. A couple of Christmas cars up in there as well. American flag action, some Dr. Pepper action as well as these drivers single file through here. Knowing that they can work together, these drivers, if they needed to, can close right back up. There's Donovan Gerald in the Napa machine, the number 24 car. And right in behind him, the 59 car, just holding on to the draft there for Darren Mack. And a couple of drivers back a little bit further. This is interesting as we saw these 2 drivers came down pit road, topped off on fuel, and this is also the previous 1 and 2 driver, 2 Don Ashton there, and the 52 car there with them as well. So going to be interesting to see what those drivers do as they work together throughout this one, but things are getting dicey up towards the front. Still Kurtz in that 51 machine holding on to the lead, but you can see the 2 car has a little bit of help now up on the high side. The 02 sliding into the P2 position. A 2nd car in line down in the bottom, the 49 of TJ Floyd. Their 3rd car in a line, and you can see as well that high side getting a bit of a run. Big push there for the 12, Nick McClellan, all over the back bumper of the 2 car. They've got help from the 35 of Nathan Brown as well. But make it look easy. Matt Telder in the 2 all the way up to the point is going to stay there. Try and bring these 3 drivers up there with him. Not going to give up and jump down on the bottom side. All 3 drivers look like they are clear, and that 2 car is still going to hold on to that top side. Hey, go with what works. Go with the fastest way around the racetrack. And sometimes that's not necessarily the bottom side of the track. Now, this is going to be big for the drivers in this one. They now see the leader running the high side of the racetrack, and you can see there is big-time momentum on that high side as everybody jumping on up, trying to get up towards the front. But then you can see, let's all gang up on these leaders and try and get around them on the bottom side. Big run now from Kevin West in the 17 machine, and he's got some pushing help from the 83, the 3 car down in there as well. And they're evenly matched now, high side, low side, but they're getting a little bit dicey. You can see everybody gathers it back up. Little 3-line action there in the center. Everybody finds themselves a spot for now. And you can see the bottom side losing that big-time momentum. Hard to hold these cars around this racetrack at 200 miles an hour. Low side breaking up just a little bit. And you can see many of the drivers jumping up on that high side. Kind of trying it out, getting comfortable with it. And now's the time to do that. As we work lap number 19, long way to go here in this one. I believe this is actually the first 500-mile coverage race here live on Daytona TV in the almost 3 years we've been doing this now. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in here live on a Tuesday night. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, follow us, find us, TikTok. We're on all the social media. Look for the Strictly 94 logo. Look, oh, big wiggle there for the O2 car. Rob Collier saves it, and I believe everybody else in the field saves it as well, but that was a big move. And some drivers not quite holding on to it. Some of the drivers off the great pace. You can see Bobby Anderson coming around this one here. Drivers coming off pit road. I believe that maybe the 21 car coming off of pit road. We'll have to double check on that, but holy mackerel, great car control with this Liberty Racing League here. The 2-car, Matt Teller holding on to the league and the lead there. And the very first race of the season, we got a 5-car breakaway up in the front. Teller, McLennan, Brown, Kurtz, and Lasowski. And 83 car, Brian Skidmore kind of leading the second pack. And everybody else kind of broke it up just a little bit. Big wiggle, big-time contact with a lot of these drivers. Everyone able to hold on to the wheel and make sure that this thing goes straight. Great car control here in the Liberty Racing League. These guys put on a heck of a show. They know the people, the fans are out here watching, and they are convinced that they have to put on a show to make you, the fan, want to go out and buy their t-shirt, which you can get over at Vidane.net. Do a quick little search for Liberty Racing League, or it's Vidane.net/listings/Liberty-Racing-League. Whole big link. You can get all that link and stuff down in the description of the video feed on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. And check out some of the other brands that we work with. Vidane TV there, as well as Angry Tree Guy, Rent a Race Car, a couple of other sim racing leagues, a lot of Grand Theft Auto stuff in the mix as well. A little True Fiction RP action going on there as well. Check it out, and be sure to use that promo code LIBERTY for 10% off at purchase, and that code is going to be hot all season long, because these cats are coming back each and every Taco Tuesday here on Vidane TV, and might have to make sure we throw that into the contract. I don't think the ink is still yet dry there, Wes. So we're gonna try to get ourselves some tacos here in the broadcast booth. But in any sense, Teller doing a great job holding on in that 2-car here on the lap 22. Nick McLellan right in behind Nathan Brown. Christopher Kurtz on older tires. Don't forget, 22 laps now on those tires. Everybody else coming down on about a lap 11 or 12. A couple drivers topping off there as well with one to go. So those tires, I think, have kind of evened out. I think everybody on newer tires at this point has kind of lost the advantage at this point. Everything kind of leveling out now. So good call for the 51 car at this point for staying out. But how long can he stay out on a tank of fuel? Getting a little dicey here up in the top 5 as drivers kind of showing their horns just a little bit, letting them know that, yeah, right now we might be taking it easy, just out for a Tuesday evening drive, but later on in this one, in the big show, these drivers want to get that checkered flag, want to get that $100 on the line for winning the first race of the season, and they want to make sure that their name is in that hat for the chase, for the championship rounds at the end of the season, because these drivers want to be king of the racetrack, king of the ring, other wrestling segues there as well. These drivers want that pro wrestling style championship belt. It's an awesome design. Got to see it over on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Liberty slash Liberty Racing League. Check these guys out. Looking for drivers, looking for sponsors, and looking for friends and fans as well. You can see these drivers putting on a show up front. Right now, single file, but we've seen some phenomenal racing throughout this one, and lots of heads-up driving throughout the field as well. And that's early on. Lots of give and take. We hear it all the time in racing. Give and take early on. Oh, big wiggle. That's the 51 car. Remember, that's Kurt's on those old tires, and that tells us right now, can we pause for the cause and just appreciate that? Well, there's the commentary curse. We started talking about the save, and there's the outside wall. Driver's coming back down. That is a tough break for the 51 car. And, man, oh, man. Sand green on that one. We did make mention Kurtz is, in fact, on those older tires. And that's a tough break. Green flag staying out on this one. Going to be forced to come down pit road and get those tires or get that car repaired. Going to lose all that track position as well. But Matt Telder still out front. Nick McClellan, P2, Nathan Brown, Brian Skidmore up 20 spots from where he qualified. That 75 car up in the top 5. Leon Kennenston in the 933, a little Yokohama car running in the top 5, 14 spots from where he qualified. Jason Foskey right in behind. Rob Collier in the top 5, top 10 all night long. There you can see Chad Lancaster, Kevin West up in the mix. Taylor Scassi up in the top 10 there as well all evening long. And you can see Jackson Fall holding on to the top 10 draft there. The two cars sliding back just a little bit. Lancaster going to try and tuck in behind there. Might have a little bit of damage. Might even be dropping back to one of these other packs here. You can see the second pack here. Michael Rogers in the 99 car, the 24, Donovan Jarrett Bolliard, former champion in the 97. It's going to be the 20 car, the Yahoo machine on your screen. And Adam Benefield in there as well. The 18 of Bobby Anderson still in the mix as well. And that's going to be the Gravedigger ride that we saw qualify on the front row on the pole here for the first race of the season. But up front, still working lap number 28 as we cross the stripe. And coming into turn number 1 here, Telder holding on to the lead. And he's got a couple of drivers just kind of running pace with him. 31 drivers making a call here tonight, taking the green flag. Currently 28 drivers still out on track, and that's 28 drivers still on the lead lap as well. Looks like Darren Mack going to lose a little bit of nope, just kidding. That's going to be the first car on the last car on the lead lap. We'll get the timing and score sorted out here at one point or another. How long have we been doing this? It's only live. It's only live. Mike Peel, Christopher Kurtz, and Wesley Hogue, junior drivers out of this one currently. Wesley Hogue having some connection issues. I believe sitting in the big red trailer watching the racing action and making sure that these drivers follow all the rules. And so far, so good. Everybody putting on a heck of a show here at Liberty Racing. First race of the season. We had mentioned, once again, $100 to win. And this isn't the only league that does stuff like this. If you're new to iRacing, new to the sim racing community, be sure to take advantage of the Black Friday sale. I believe it goes on through this weekend. Head on over to iRacing.com, 50% off new subscriptions, 25% off all renewals, and jump on into iRacing, check it out. There's pickup racing, all sorts of different forms, from circle track to dirt track, asphalt, short track racing, super late models, the jumpy trucks. Everybody loves the jumpy trucks, the stadium trucks, and more. iRacing.com. Let them know if an AMTV sent you. Maybe they'll hook us up as well. But great racing action once again here. These drivers know it's a long race, so they're kind of hooked up towards the front for about 10 to 12 cars. We may mention there's that second pack car, 6, 7 cars strong, and a little bit further on back is where you can see there's a little bit of slicing and dicing going on. About mid-pack on back. This is about a 450, looks like. One group kind of going through and around the other group, just kind of trying to get lined up to see who's more of a pusher, who can kind of pull these drivers all the way around the racetrack, trying to get everybody lined up. But as they do that, the race goes on. Working lap number 30, and a lot of these drivers around the outside of the racetrack trying things here on this one. Lap 30 in the books, and you can see still Telder up front, McClellan 1-2. And single file for the most part. A couple of drivers peaking high, peaking low, trying different lines to see if they can maybe get themselves a little bit of an advantage. And right now, it looks like the high side pretty much prevailing so far. Bottom of the racetrack starting to pick up a little bit of steam, starting to get a little bit more organized. Pulling up towards the front ever so slightly, being led now by Nathan Brown in the 35 car of Collier in the 02 right in behind. I believe that's the free car of Foskey in there as well. Trying to move up towards the front. There's 5 cars up top, 5 on the bottom side. And we've seen that high side work all night long. But as these drivers get a little bit further on into the run, as the tires start to wear just a little bit, you gotta figure, is the bottom side going to start to get advantage? You can see they move in just a little bit closer as they come into 4, but as the drivers up on the high side come out of the corner, they're able to really utilize that big run. The 2 car going to now go down, take a little bit of the air off the nose of the 35 car, leading both packs, as we've heard time and time again on any of the NASCAR broadcasts and racing throughout the whole super speedway races. The 2 car very, very strong on that high side in that tube machine. Tell they're doing a great job holding on to the lead for right now, but that 35 car and Nathan Brown wants it and has some help. You can see as these drivers up in this high front pack are side by side, that second pack starting to close in ever so slightly, and that's going to add a whole lot more names into the hat for this one. These drivers know they've got a long way to go in this race, but still anybody can have a victory at the end of this one. Looking out for, that's what you see out in the leader's race car, out in the windshield. Kelder on board with the tube machine, hard on that throttle, and you can see still on that high side. Not really coming down or bottom for much of anything. You can see he wants to make sure that he holds on to that lead. These drivers know that they need to make it a little magic happen. Get up towards the front, Nathan Brown now in the 35 car, still holding on to the bottom side. Skidmore up on the high side from Tennessee. Rob Collier in the 02 car from Colorado Springs. He's trying to push that 35 car up into the lead. That high side's starting to break up just a bit. There's only 3 cars, but they're still holding on to it. And these drivers know that high side is very, very powerful when it gets organized. But if you get a couple of drivers that are not going to come down on the bottom side, the best thing to do is get everybody down and around. You can see the 35 car trying to make that happen up towards the front, but there you can see the 2 car comes down, breaks the draft just a little bit, goes back up and grabs the front end of the race car in behind them, and they do it once again. A little bit of wall action for the 75 car. Sparks flying as he drops back just a little bit, but the 2 cars still holding on ever so slightly as they get down the back straightaway for that lead. And a great run up on that high side, doing everything they need to on that high side and showing that 3 cars can make it happen. But that 35 car, the 02, the 84, and company, everybody else down on the bottom side, trying to make that way around the racetrack work and make a little 2-wide action for the lead. Coming out of turn number 4 once again, going to cross the stripe here for lap number 35, and that's going to be in the books. It's still going to be the 2 car holding on to it. He got a little bit more help with the 22 car now jumping up. Lancaster going to push on the high side for right now, just kind of hang back there and give just a little bit of air support. But you can see that line out on the bottom side, very long. Everybody single file on the bottom, but not quite tightened up. They need to get a little bit more organized to see if they can put a hurt and put a little distance in between themselves and that high side. 35 slides back, finds himself a spot in line down at the bottom side. The 0-2 car of Rob Collier to see if he can make a little magic happen down on the bottom side. He's got the 22. Get rid of him as well. The 75 jumps down there. Brian Skidmore going to see if he can push that bottom side up towards the front. You see the 35 jumps back up high, as does the 83 of Dale Lisowski. They're going to try and make their run up on the high side, but the 0-2 trying to do everything he can to get a little side draft there off of the 12 machine of Nick McClelland, and it's working to his advantage there just a little bit, but that high side just a little bit too powerful with that run that they've got. And as these tires start to go on throughout the evening here, you'll notice these drivers going to slide around the racetrack a little bit more as the race goes on. That's going to bring into question 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires. Waiting for this one. We saw 51 car made a great call, stayed out on track, but unfortunately lost the handling of the race car and wrecked out of this one early. So these drivers did see that. The crew chiefs, they saw it as well. They know that they have to keep in mind these drivers are going to want tires, but they're going to want track position, and more importantly, they got to keep the car pointed in the right direction and make sure they cross the start-finish line as a whole. Matt Telder doing a great job up in the front. The 12 car of Nick McClelland right there with him. And the 35 back on the attack. Nathan Brown moving his way towards the front. Big push now from the 0-2 of Collier, the 22. 75 there in with him. And you can see the 35 gets just a little bit of an advantage as they now start to come up on a lap car. I believe that's going to be the 54. Brady blocks the first car. Kurt made 1 lap down. And you can see it up on the high side. That's going to be the 51 car of Kurt's. Got a little bit fresher tires, but a little bit of contact up by the leaders, as they are going to be able to get by now down on the bottom side of the back straightaway. You can see still 3 wide, that 51 up on the high side. He's going to try and stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Christopher Kurtz, a lap down the 2 car. Holding on to the lead for right now. Definitely a trial to get through that. And that's going to be something we're going to start dealing with as this race goes on as well, with the lap traffic being involved up in the front. But looks like it's all sorted out for right now. Telder holding on to it. McClelland right in behind him, but Nathan Brown trying to get everything regrouped there, trying to get down on the bottom side. And you see the 12, they're going to move down on the bottom side. And the 12 car looks like he's taking a little bit of a peek. Might have just been cooled off the front of that car, getting a little bit of air on the nose, as it were. And the 35 is going to move up top, try and get a little bit of drafting help. Find a spot back down on the bottom. So these drivers know it's only lap 41 at this point. Still got a long ways to go. Got a lot of pit stops, a lot of racing action to start this one. Couple of drivers starting to make green flag pit stops. As you can see, about half a dozen drivers peeling off now. Matt Telder, Nick McClelland, Jackson Fall, Collier, Rogers, Benefield, and everybody in behind that coming down pit road to make a green flag pit stop here on lap number 43. So these drivers know that they had to come down, get service on these cars, and they're going to have to deal with it under green flag conditions. You can see Nathan Brown going to inherit the lead here at this point. 75 of Skidmore Bolliard up in this mix as well. A lot of these drivers haven't mentioned them too much throughout the night here. Chad Bowles, Lancaster at 22. Seen him a couple of times, as is the 17 of Kevin West joining. Kenneth Sting and Michael Hicks up in the mix here as well. Apologize for the video feed there. We'll get that sorted out here momentarily as we get everybody coming off pit road, starting to merge back into the racetrack as we go through green flag pit stops. We're going to take ourselves a quick break and try and get this video feed sorted out here. Live TV, folks, works great when we want it to. In the meantime, check out Vidane.net. Be sure to use that promo code Liberty for 10% off. Green flag stop in the books, and man, oh man, did it jumble things up. You can see still cycling through pit stops. One driver dipping on down pit road to get some tires and some fuel, but Jason Foskey coming out on top in the number 3 car. Taylor Luskowski right behind him. Former leader of the number 2 car, still battling side by side with Collier, but it's now for that 3rd position. Here you see Jared Bulliard, the 97 car, up in the mix. That's going to be the number 20 Yahoo machine of Jared Bulliard up in the mix as well, bringing some Toyota power up into the top 5. Matt West and Nick McClellan up in the top 6 cars as well. And you can see a little bit of a split up here as these drivers come off pit road, working lap number 50. 150 laps to go here at Daytona. And looking through here, looks like there's 23 cars still on the lead lap. Relatively clean throughout this one. Just a quick caution earlier on. Back on lap 11, got ourselves a little bit of a taste of some pit stop action and just had ourselves a cycle of green flag stops in this one. So definitely having ourselves a long green flag feel for the Verdane.net 500. The very first race of the season here for the Liberty Racing League. These drivers racing it out for $100 to the winner here tonight. The champion at the end of the season going to get themselves a wrestling-style championship belt. And you can see the design package, the graphics package for that belt over on Facebook. Do a quick search for Liberty Racing League, and you'll be able to take a peek at what these drivers are going to be fighting for at the end of the season. But before we get there, before we return to regular distance racing, a little bit of an endurance race for these sim racers not used to running these long 500-mile races, and that is indeed what this is. We're getting close to about the halfway point of what a regular racing series sim racing race is, usually right around 40 to 50% distance, 150 to 200 miles, anywhere between an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most that these drivers run on a weekly night. Don't forget it's a work night too. These folks, they're gonna have to go to bed after this race, get up, go to work in the morning. So all of that is going to be going through these drivers' minds. It's not quite like a profession where you get out into the race car driver, you get paid to do it. These folks all in the bedrooms, the workshops, all hooked up to iRacing.com. Everybody's got a driver, steering wheel, some pedals hooked up to it. Maybe a nice, cold, refreshing adult beverage next to them. And they're having some fun with their buddies here on a Tuesday night. And they are glad that you're joining us here on Verdane TV, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, on TikTok, all the social media. We're joining the crazes. We're joining the trends. We're trying to be live and interactive with everybody. So definitely give us a like, a subscribe, a share, a follow, all that good stuff. But most importantly, head on over to Verdane.net, take your peek, find yourself a sweatshirt. It's getting cold out there, folks. We got some hats. There's some beanies on there, some Verdane TV hats, lots of sweatshirts for the Angry Tree Guy, for Rent a Race Car, Verdane TV, Visual Pollution, you name it, we're up there. And, oh, by the way, the Liberty Racing League hopping on up to the merchandise, the virtual merchandise booth, easy enough for me to say, over there at Verdane.net. And you can use the promo code LIBERTY at checkout for 10% off. That is going to be a hot promo code all season long for the Liberty Racing League. These drivers are going to be joining us each and every Tuesday night until we crown ourselves a champion. And right now, championship contender early on in this one. Still about a 3/4 of the way to go in this one, but Jason Foskey in the 3 car. Solid qualifying effort up in the top 10, holding on to the lead right now in that number 3 car. Let's take a look at some of these drivers throughout the field now, shall we? Jacksonville's own number 3 car. You can see Jason Foskey holding on to it. Right in behind him, it's going to be Taylor Luskowski in the 83 car. Very quick in that good wrench service machine, up in the top 10 all night long. Qualified just outside. You can see Jared Bulliard, and that's the number 20 Yahoo car, doing everything he can to get up there. And we've got a couple of lap cars up in the mix. That 02 car, I believe, is actually a lap. I'll have to double check on that. It is Rob Collier, first car, 1 lap down. Those pit stops not too kind, but you can see the 02 car still very strong up in the front of the pack, but currently being scored in a P23. So hoping a quick caution flag comes out here in this one. The 2 car up in the outside line, holding on to it. Tell they're very, very strong, very powerful in that number 2 car and leading that outside line, trying to get up towards the front. We talked about Jared Bolliard, Verdane Racing's Super Speedway Series champion, has himself one of those wrestling style championship belts. Kevin West in the 17 car, Canton, Georgia, right in behind him. Trailer Park Boy, Trailer Park Dude, as it were, the number 17 car, cool with the paint scheme there. Jax Duval in the 84 right in behind, and you can see the last car in this pack here, one of the cars a lap down or so. Pardon me, Elliott Swope still holding on to a top 10, the 42 car holding on to it. There you can see Sardinia, Ohio, with a 5 car right in behind him. Michael Carpenter, Greenfield, Tennessee. And just trying to get to know some of these drivers. The 99 car slipping back a bit there, a lap or so down. Kind of jumbled up towards the back of the field, but there's, you can see, Matt Swope in the 82 car. Learning some of these paint schemes as we get down to it. There's some teammates. You got to bet they're related as well. Same last name there. Bobby Anderson in the Gravedigger ride, the number 18 car. Already has my vote for the coolest paint scheme here in the league, but we still have to give everybody a fair shot. Haven't seen everybody's paint scheme here yet. We're still learning the names and the sponsors here, the Liberty Racing League. Kicking things off here in Season 1. Right in behind, there's the 75 car. Saw him up towards the front early on with that 18 car. Brian Skidmore car still relatively in one piece, and that's the On-X machine, Kubota. That's a couple of things I wish I had. I need to get myself a track. The 99 car finding himself a spot back in this line, and even further on back, Chad Lancaster, New Smyrna. We saw him a little bit earlier. He's going to slide up, let the 933, Leon Kenningston go by. Devin Gerald, car going down very quickly into pit road there. I believe that was 52 of Don Ashton. Indeed it was. Hit the big time hit there, it looks like, for the 52, but going to gather it back up and get down to pit road safely. Green flag still stays out. We are still racing here on lap 58. And how about that? That 2 car back up in front, holding on to the lead. He's got the 12 car right in behind him. McClellan there as well. Foskey is there, Lasowski and Bolliard, the current top 5. Bohan, number 38 car, that's West Ho, multiple laps down, had a connection issue early on in this one, but still wants to make sure he's got himself a good seat in the house, and he's probably listening to us on the Oberdane TV, and he knows he's on TV now, so he's going to put on a little bit of a show there for us in that 38 machine, and multiple laps down, but still showing he's got a quick car, and he's going to be a force to reckon with throughout the season here in this one. Going to be able to watch that story unfold here live each and every Tuesday night as we catch up with the Liberty Racing League on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Not going to be running 500 miles each week, but we're definitely going to be having ourselves a blast here at Verdane TV. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff, all the social media outlets. We'll be able to let you know when we go live, and you'll be able to bring all your friends and family here with us as well. So live and interactive here as we try to be as we work lap number 60. About 140 laps or so to go. Long way to go, short time to get there, but still a great race here as these drivers now kind of get a little bit racy here as we're a few laps into the run at this point, and there's about 10, 12 cars in this lead pack, and they're all split up high side, low side, doing a little bit of homework at this point, putting themselves in different situations to see how the car's going to react later on into the race, and they want to make sure that they kind of study everything that they can early on before they get to the final handful of laps in this one, especially here at Daytona. Drafting how it works wonders, so you gotta wonder who's going to be working with who. Is it going to be teammates, or maybe Chevy's ganging up on everybody else, or Fords or Toyotas working together, or just maybe some friendships that we might not even know about up here in the broadcast booth. But how about that, side by side now for the lead position on track? But we made mention that U2 car of Collier currently multiple laps down, 1 lap down. Actually on the tail end of the lead lap right now is Wesley Ho going to push him down around the leader, going to bring the 17 car as well. That's going to put West up into the lead. West Ho gets one of his laps back the hard way, but more importantly, the O2 of Collier going to get back on the lead lap, and you can see he's going to try and block the 17 just a little bit. He doesn't really want to upset the outcome of the race, but he also doesn't want to lose that lap back as he gets split up with Wes Hogue Hogue up on the outside line, West up the middle. The 2-car going to take advantage. He's going to try and up onto the outside or try and get around the outside, around the outside. The 12-car going to jump up there with him. The 17, great job of trying to get to the front. Got there momentarily, but unfortunately the 2 and the 12 and the rest of the field kind of ganged up on him on the outside line there. Going to have to sit this one, not necessarily sit this one out, but rethink it. Back to the drawing board, as it were. He's going to find a spot here in line to kind of tuck in, gather his thoughts, and I'm sure that's not going to be the last charge we saw out of the 17. He's kind of holding on to that bottom side. He's got the O2 car of Collier down there as well. Bolliard in the 20 machine. He's going to try and make a little magic happen on the bottom side. As I say, that slides up to the high side. And everybody kind of holding on to the high side there at this point. Oh, doing everything he can to try and get around these leaders and get one of those laps back and get a little bit closer up towards the front. You can see that clean windshield out the number 2 car. Cool, calm, and collected so far, but you got to know there's still a long way to go in this one. Not even quite halfway as we are working towards our goal of 500 miles, 200 laps at Daytona. And Telder holding on to the lead, the 12 car of McClellan. You've seen these drivers 1 and 2 for a very long time in the Colbo Handling machine, trying to make a show out of it, trying to get to a lap or 2 back in that 38 machine. Has a little bit fresher tires than some of these leaders down here, but no drafting help currently up in that high side, and might have a little bit. The 83 going to make a big run on the outside line, but it's going to give Hogue the opportunity to jump kind of back into that 3rd spot in line. And remember, that's just on the racetrack. Hogue multiple laps down due to a connection issue from earlier on. Telder holding on to the front. McClellan in second. Foskey, Bolliard, West, the current top 5. File out towards the front for about 12 cars deep as we work lap number 66 at Daytona. You can see the racetrack in complete darkness. The lights are up and we are racing at nighttime, and you can see the glow off of these race cars as they get around this racetrack. Beautiful shot there of the number 2 machine. Telder doing a great job of holding on to the lead. Started back at about the 20th position, made his way up towards the front. Very strong driver behind the wheel of that number 2, and has had himself a little bit of a pushing partner in that 12 car. McClellan right up there with him in that number 12 machine. Foskey, Bolliard, West also up in the top 5 right now, and you can see for the most part everybody up in the top 10, top 12 cars or so as start to come up on a couple of stragglers, a couple of lap cars as they hold on to the bottom side, go around the top of the racetrack to get clear here, and you can see one of those groups starting to come up in the view there as well. That's going to be the group led by the 49 of DJ Floyd. They're coming out of turn number 4 as the leaders are starting to get into the corners here. So that's going to be something that Floyd, Hicks, Withers, Benefiel, and Freddie Durstock Sr., they're all going to try and hope the caution flag comes out at this point, because they're in danger here of going a lap down if we do keep continuing. Telder just doing a great job holding pace, crossing the stripe here for lap number 68. McClellan, Foskey, Bolliard, West up in the top 5. Scope, Copenter, and Swope. Both Swopes up in the top 10. Bobby Anderson in the 18 car right on the outside. Has a 75 car there right with him. Brian Skidmore holding on top, the 99 car. The Dr. Pepper ride there as well. And you can see Leon Keniston, Devin Gerald, Mark Brown, Chad Lancaster. A couple of drivers kind of back with their own packs, so to speak. Nathan Brown in the 35 back here as well, scored in a P17. Just holding on to their own draft at this point, knowing that they've still got better than half the race left to go in this one, crossing the stripe to start lap number 69. Nice. And, man, great racing throughout the field here. Lots of green flag pit stops throughout the night so far. Saw a couple of stops under the first caution flag, the only caution flag here of the evening, back on lap 11. It's been clean and green ever since. Watching the Liberty Racing League Cup Series. These drivers, the Super Speedway Series, these drivers are going to be rotating the series, different cars, different tracks, and different vehicles each and every week. This week, we're running the Next Generation Cup car here at Daytona. Next week, it's going to be the Xfinity Series car at Talladega, and we'll be able to catch that whole series, or this whole series, unfold on Tuesday nights here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Bedane TV. Great to have the Liberty Racing League back on the airwaves here at Bedane TV. Still looking for sponsors here as well. If you want to get hooked up with the Liberty Racing League, get your name, your brand, or your logo, or all three out in front of a race title here, be sure to get in touch with the Liberty Racing League over on Facebook, or if you want to, shoot us a DM over on Facebook here at Bedane TV. We'll make sure that we get you in contact with the folks that you need to be. But it's always great to get some supporters from the fans. It's these drivers putting on a heck of a show here for us, doing the battling it out, trying to race for a championship. They want to get that championship belt at the end of the season, and they want to get that $100 here tonight and tell their big-time chips all the way up in this one, all the way up towards the front. Did a great job driving through the field a couple of times now. Wants to come home with the victory. This first race of the season, the 500-miler, the virtual Daytona 500, brought to you by Bedane.net. $100 on the line from race officials. You come home with the victory, and you come home with a trophy. It's going to be full of a great big $100 bill. We might even do it in quarters. I don't know. It might, just for a lasting effect. A trophy full of quarters would probably make an awesome noise. But in any sense, these drivers want $100, and they know that they're not going to be able to win that championship without first having a good race. As we can see the 2-car and the 12, the whole line up on the high side, taking a little bit of time to get down to the bottom. We get around that 21 car, going down another lap there. It looks like that's going to be Mike Keel in the 21 car. Everybody gets down and away, and still the 2-car up front. 12 right in there with them, and Wes Hogue trying to get another challenge now. Their car in line, multiple laps down due to a connection issue earlier on in this one, but still wants to make sure that everybody in this field knows that he's going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the rest of the season. He's going to be wanting to get himself that championship belt as well. And Hogue always fast on the super speedways, going way back, the main racing super speedway series, all the way back. But we won't get into the history lesson here this evening. Lots of racing action here, working lap 72 here at Daytona. Telder up front, McClellan right in behind him, Foskey a little bit further on back in that 3-car, currently running in P3. And taking a quick look at timing and scoring, looking like half the field so far, still on the lead lap. Michael Hicks in the 76 is currently scored P20 as the last car on the lead lap. The 02 car of Rob Collier still holding up, still trying to get back on the lead lap. He's actually the 6th and 7th car in line up with these leaders right now. That's going to be the red and kind of a teal 02 car, you can see. 2 back behind the purple Yahoo car. So doing everything he can, doing what he needs to keep up with these leaders, let them know, get them familiar with his paint scheme, and get them familiar with racing side by side with position. Get himself a caution. That 02 car gets back on the lead lap, gets some fresh tires. We get a little pit stop action as the leader going to come down pit road here, as well as a lot of other cars from a little bit further on back. We're going to have to check the speed penalties. Couple of hot breaks getting locked up here, but there you see a lot of these drivers coming down. Telder, McClellan, Duvall, Swope, Carpenter, Skidmore, Swope, Anderson, all these drivers coming down to get service on their virtual race cars, and going to leave the lead to Foskey here. And you can see they're going to kind of cycle on through. Jared Bolliard in the mix as well. A couple of lap cars kind of thrown in the mix as well. Kevin West holding on to P3. But all these drivers going to be coming down pit road more than likely this time, if not next time by. And you can see going down to the bottom of the racetrack, that's going to be the 38 there of Wes Hogue. Still multiple laps down, but he's going to stay out on the racetrack, going to take the rest of these drivers around the racetrack one more time. And you can see a couple of drivers coming back off pit road by themselves. So that's going to be tough to get that, losing that drafting help. These drivers come on around here. They've got the fresher tires. They've got a little bit of fuel, but they're in danger of going a lap down. But make mention, once again, the drivers on the lead lap still have to come down. There you see the 933 Leon Keniston coming down. Donovan Jarrell, Mark Brown, Nathan Brown down here as well. Chad Lancaster as well as the 24 car. All coming down for their service, leaving 4 drivers still out on track, and they've got a couple of lap cars kind of peppered in, and they're not quite able to get down to the bottom side of the racetrack this time by. That may very well be big. There you see a couple drivers peeling off down to get their service. But man, I don't know. If these drivers are tight on fuel, it's going to be interesting to see if they could actually make it down to the bottom of the racetrack. Jason Foskey out front, Bolliard, West, and Liskoski up on the high side. All these drivers up there following Wes Hogue in the 38 car. And you got to wonder, do they have enough fuel? Are they going to be able to get down to the bottom side? Those drivers down on the bottom. Oh, a little bit of contact in behind us. We went 3 wide. One of the drivers coming off of pit road. Everything appears to be A-okay. We get it all sorted out. But 4 drivers still trying to get down to the bottom of the racetrack and get in to pit road to get some service. There you see Bolliard going to come down pit road by himself. That's going to be tough to come off. Hopefully gets lined up with another group that comes down or merge back in with the rest of the field. And you can see drivers still holding on to the lead pack. Foskey and West need to come down pit road here relatively soon. We'll see if we can get the pit strategy up. And there it is, 65 laps so far for those top 3 drivers that have not come down pit road. You can see Bolliard down after 33. Nope, that is incorrect. So don't pay attention to those numbers. But in any sense, the leader's going to come down pit road, give up all that track's position. Apologize for the pit graphic being incorrect. And oh, you can see the 3 car doesn't quite stick the landing. Man, oh man, the back end of the race car comes around. Big, heavy contact with the nose of that car down on the inside safer barrier. Tough break for the 3 car. That leaves West and Liskoski down on pit road by themselves. A couple of other stragglers down here as well. Rob Collier still trying to get back on the lead lap with this group. The 99 of Michael Rogers in as well. Kevin West up in the front of the 17 down on pit road. Still currently being scored as the leader. But here comes Jared Bolliard. He came down last time by. He's by himself. He came out of pit road. And the pack is nowhere really to be seen. They're a little bit further on back and not quite organized. So this is going to be huge, big-time move now for the 17, the 83. They're coming off pit road now. We'll see where these drivers get lined back up. The 3 car still heavy damage on that machine, trying to get everything repaired. And you can see West is currently scored as the leader. He's getting back up to speed as he gets down into turn number 3, as is the 83. The 97 of Bolliard, he came down a lap before. He's up to full speed. He's just now going to be able to kind of close up onto the back bumper of Collier and maybe catch up with those 2 leaders. Meanwhile, back here for the side-by-side battle for 4th and 2nd, these drivers are about 8 seconds on back, so some phenomenal pit stops for the top 3 drivers, the 17, the 83, the 94, down and off pit road all by themselves and back up as we get some contact. Between some drivers, they spread themselves out in a big way, but they get it all sorted out. We're still 3 wide and behind them, as you can see the 2 car side by side now with the 44 and 44 of Paul Buchanan trying to stay up with the lead pack here. Is he's going to be the new driver that is 1 lap down, the first car 1 lap down in that 44 machine. So these lead pack drivers, as we get a little bit further on into this one, starting to put a little bit of distance in between themselves and these lap cars. You can see the 2nd place car currently going to be the 83 of Taylor Liskoski, holding on to it. Jared Bolliard right up in the mix as well. with a couple of lap cars. So they've got themselves about a 5-car pack for the most part that are kind of sort of lined up, drafting with each other. Lap cars trying to get down and around now. Or you can see the 83 car, pardon me, the 83 car now jumping up on the high side to see if he can stretch his legs just a little bit. Now, all in all, the second pack starting to organize just a little bit. There you see 4 or 5 drivers lined on up and back a little bit further on back. There's another pack of 5 or 6 drivers that are trying to organize. So a little bit of pack mentality throughout the field. A couple of drivers further on back, 35 to 22, trying to get their thoughts gathered back up here. But new leader up into the front. Tyler in the 83 car moves up to P1. The 17 West moves into second. Bolliard still on the podium and at P3 in that number 20 Yahoo machine. Elliott Swope and Bobby Anderson making his way back up into the top 5 as well. Qualified on the pole in that Gravedigger machine, and he has moved himself up into the top 5. Not with this front bunch. He's kind of leading, or second in line here with this second group here being led by Elliott Swope. That's 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. All working together, trying to kind of close the distance up here, and they're doing a great job because they're down to about 3.5 seconds now. As you can see, the front pack still kind of battling it out a little bit, racing side by side with these couple of lap cars. And not that the lap cars are really in the way, but they've got a race to run themselves. But it's definitely going to be an advantage for the 42, the 18, the 82, and the 2 as they start to. You can see really lined up there now. They've got their sights set on that front pack and beyond. As the lead is now under 3 seconds, as you can see, just really starting to close that gap. And we're right on board now with the number 42 of Elliott Swope. You can see he's really, you can smell blood in the water at this point. The lead now 2.5, 2.6 seconds, and he's closing in. And you can see that group not very organized up towards the front. He knows they're not pushing, they're not drafting very hard, and he has himself some drafting help up and behind him. He's got 3 cars tucked right in. Bobby Anderson there in the 18 machine. You can see Matt Swope there in the 82. Matt Telder in the 2 is leading this other pack in behind him with the 75 of Skidmore. Michael Carpenter, Nick McClelland in the mix as well, but they're all chasing the leader. Currently the 83. He's got a little side-by-side action now by the 17. The 83 left out to dry up on the high side, and here comes the Thunder. The 42 car closing in now 1.5 seconds. The distance in between the lead pack and this second pack, and they're going to merge on in, and it'll be a wonder to see where they take that momentum. You can see the 83 car backing up just a little bit, all the way back to the back of this front pack. He's going to give him a little bit of distance there as well. Gotta wonder if the 83's got a big move planned. You can see hammer down now at this point, using that draft on the bottom side. I think he's going to try and time it where he can use that run where he's getting the draft from the pack in front of him, and he's also trying to pull the pack right in around behind him and maybe use that and try and jump up on the high side. Lots of different strategies here in Super Speedway Racing. That's only one of them that could potentially unfold. You can see the 02 of Collier down on the bottom side, doing everything he can to get back on the lead lap, trying to get around the leaders here, trying to get around the 17 car and TJ Floyd, the 49 there. That's the black and green machine up in the mix as well. That's going to be the first car 1 lap down. So the 49 and the 02 car, they're actually racing for position, racing for the lucky dog if the caution flag does in effect fly. And you can see right now that position going to go to the 49 Floyd machine right now. But up front still going to be the 17 of Kevin West, Jarrett Bolliard in second, Taylor Laskowski in third, Elliott Swope, Matt Swope, P4, P5. And that front pack is coming in a hurry. It slowed down just a little bit. It got to about 2 seconds and almost plateaued just a little bit. Those 4 drivers still lined up, but you can see really starting now at this point to catch that draft just a little bit. The 42 can now start to read the back bumper of that 83 car and knows that he is going to try and do everything he can to catch that draft. 1.3 now the seconds to gap between the front pack and this second pack of drivers, and these second pack of drivers have been working very, very well together for about 5 or 6 laps. Lined up bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper all the way around the racetrack and really being able to cover some distance between the front and second pack. And it looks like this front pack starting to look at the rearview mirror just a little bit with a new leader, Jarrett Bolliard, now up in the front. He's pushing the 49 car. That's going to be the green and white black machine there. Leading the pack is the last car on the lead lap. So that's TJ Floyd trying to stay on the lead lap. The leader currently the 20 car of Jared Bollier. Kevin West, 17, right in behind him, is running second. That 02 is Rob Collier, currently the first car 1 lap down. And then the 83 car of Taylor Skotsky in the 83 is P3. Currently, Elliott Swope still trying to lead his group here to the front of the pack. And it looks like they actually slowed down a little bit to try and gather up that 2 car. But the 2 car of Telder just going to go around the outside on the high side. And that's going to be big. That 3rd pack now passing the 2nd pack, making themselves one great big pack, trying to chase down the leaders at this point, who has a little bit of help from some very fast lap cars. And we're not even halfway, folks. Lots of story going on throughout this one here at Verdane TV. And, man, we're live and interactive, and we thank you so much for joining us here. Be sure to check us out on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all that stuff. And also be sure to check out Verdane.net. Get yourself a sweatshirt, a t-shirt. They got a lot of coffee mugs and some stickers up in there. And once you get to check out, make sure you use that promo code Liberty for 10% off. And, man, these guys taking the liberty to put one heck of a show on here at Daytona. Jared Bollier up front, 17 spots gained on the evening, currently in that 97. Scored us a 97 car, but 20 there on your screen. And he's got a 49 car right up in front of him, TJ Floyd, trying to stay on the lead lap, doing everything he can to make sure that he stays out in front of these leaders in case the caution flag does fly. And you can see he's doing a great job as a very fast race car there as well. And God bless America, support our veterans, 100% from New Bern, North Carolina. And TJ doing a great job, very quick in this lead pack. And Jared Bollier holding on to the lead right in behind him. Kevin West, we made mention in that 17, the trailer park dude, holding on to P2, and Taylor Skotsky in at P3, that 83 car holding on to the bottom side. You see Wes Hogue there trying to tuck right back in. A couple of laps down, a little connection issue, but doesn't want to turn over and give this one away. Wants to make sure his drivers know, and these drivers know in the Liberty Racing League, that he is going to be a factor when his championship is all said and done at the end of the season. Just taking a look around the racetrack, seeing some of the drivers, some of the paint schemes, some of the names and numbers throughout the field here. The slopes running bumper to bumper. Now that 2nd and 3rd pack have kind of merged together into one big pack, and well, they're still not able to really tail in the leaders. As you can see, they're lined up for about 7 or 8 cars deep. They're still losing time. Bolliard and company pulling away. You can see Michael Carpenter back with the 5 machine, little 4-car pack. A little bit further on back, we saw McClellan in there, Jax Duvall in the 84 car. A little bit further on back with the 73, the 933. It's Mark Brown, Leon Keniston right in the mix here as well. And made mention, 33 drivers making the call for this one to kick things off. Still 17 drivers on the lead lap, and you're looking at the last car on the lead lap. That's going to be the 49 car. That's the bright green machine up in the front. Holding on to it, actually being scored P17, but has a very fast race car and really hoping for a caution flag to fly as his leaders right up towards the front. Bollier holding on to the back bumper. There you see the 21 car getting ready to go a lap down. But the 2 car of Telder, fast earlier on, and leading this 2nd pack, came around, took that 3rd group right around the 2nd group, and now has his sights set on the top 3, but not really making up time, actually losing time now, as the gap between the front and front and 2nd packs up 5 seconds in between Bollier and P5. very quickly approaching halfway here in this one. Working lap number 95. The 97 car of Bolliard up in the front. Scored as a 97. We've been doing that all night long. The 20 car of Jared Bolliard up in the front. You can see still has the 49 car of TJ Floyd up. He's a little bit further on back. Nope, still in front of the leaders. You can see the 35 and the 22. Now going to join those drivers battling it out to be the first car one lap down. And this is going to make things super interesting. There's a 51 car up on the high side as well. The 29 and the 35 down on the bottom side. Going to join this pack, but the wrong side of it as they go one lap down here in this one. It's going to be a lot of cars battling it out, a lot of quick cars battling it out to be that first car one lap down. These drivers being led around this racetrack by the 20 machine, the Yahoo, a little bit sideways there for Jared Bolliard, but holds on to it. And West right in behind him, Kevin West in the 17. The O2 of Collier up in there as well. He's one lap down, trying to stay in front of these other drivers that are the first that are on the last lap. So, English language, sometimes we struggle with it when we get distracted. A lot of bells and whistles in the Dane TV HQ, but great racing nonetheless. As you can see, these drivers that are getting past here, getting put down a lap, kind of mixing right in with this front pack. It's not necessarily showing that their cars are a little bit slower, but it just the way the draft works, we've been green for so long, and these drivers up in the front pack really putting on a quick pace here as we're very quickly approaching the 100 lap mark, 100 down, 100 to go, halfway marker here for the Vidane.net 500. 500 miles the distance here in this one. Hard to believe we've already got just about 250 of those in the bank. And this driver's really showing a great job around this racetrack, showing that they've done their homework just a little bit, and they've been racing with each other for a long time. $20 entry fee gets you into the season. If you want to check it out, facebook.com/Liberty Racing League. Each of these races is going to be broadcast every Tuesday night live on the Dane TV here, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Not all the races 500 miles. That's only the first one here this evening. Everything else getting shortened up just a little bit. A couple of drivers coming down pit road, the 44 of Paul Buchanan, as well as another couple of drivers. It's like unscheduled pit stops, potentially. And up front, still pretty much single file around this track. It looks like that second pack has finally kind of jumped up with this lead pack here just a little bit, and it's just kind of fizzled out. It looks like drivers kind of biding their time. They know they've got a long way to go here further on back, and everybody's doing a great job back here keeping the cars in one piece. As you can see, the cars don't look all that bad. There aren't very many dings or dents throughout the entire field. Great clean racing here as we work the lap number 99. Jared Bolliard still up front. Kevin West in P2, Taylor in the 83 car, P3, Skidmore in the slopes, P5 and P6 as we ride on board the current leader of Jared Bolliard. You can see exactly what he's seeing out that windshield. A couple of drivers down the bottom side, they're going to try and hold on to it. He's going to keep pushing that 49 car around the racetrack, basically letting that driver know, hey, listen, I'm not going to try and pass you as long as you don't slow me up any, and definitely seems to be working. Being able to stay out in front of these leaders and really stay out on the tail end of the lap. Half in the bag here at Vidane TV. 100 down, 100 to go. We cross the stripe for lap 101. Jared Bolliard holding on to the lead. Kevin West right in behind him in that 17 car. You're watching the Liberty Racing League here live on Vidane TV. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch, twitch.tv Strictly 94. Lots of video game stuff going on over there. It's my personal channel. Be sure to check that out when we're not live here on Vidane TV. But the caution flag going to fly here on lap 101. We're going to take a peek around the racetrack. I believe it's the 2 car of Telder. Very fast earlier on and finds himself pointed in the wrong direction. A little bit of damage there on the front of the car, and that's going to give us an opportunity here to pull up the U-House Racing Design instant replay to see if we can find out what it was that brought this caution flag out just after halfway. And we'll back this up just a little bit. We'll take a little look-see here at it again. The U-House Racing Design instant replay. Focus in on that 2 car. You can see tries to make a move down the bottom side. Not quite there, or not quite open. Rather, a little 3-line action between these drivers and some guys going for the same piece of real estate at the same time. Unfortunately, get the fenders hooked and some big-time damage there for the 2, as well as the other drivers involved. Going to come down pit road, be able to kind of beat on some of the old sheet metal damage, but one of the things that really benefits is that 49 car. How about that? TJ Floyd going to be able to drive around and catch the tail end of the field, and Rob Collier is going to end up being the first car 1 lap down. He's going to be back joining this field of drivers back on the lead lap, and that's good news for those drivers. So we'll see what comes down. It's been a little bit since we've been down pit road, and you can see all these drivers are going to try and take the opportunity. There you see it's been about 25 laps or so. So I bet pit road's going to be a very busy place. And there you see it. Everybody coming down. Bolliard, West, Laskowski, Skidmore, Swope coming down there as well. Bobby Anderson going to hit the commitment cone. Michael Carpenter, Jax Duval, Mark Brown, Leon Kensington all coming down pit road. Nick McClellan a little bit further on back, giving all these drivers an opportunity to really tighten the pack back up. Nick McClellan, Matt Telder there. And the number 2, the reason that we're under caution there is the 2 car going to get closed up to the pack. And how about the big benefactor here in this one? The green machine, the 49 car, TJ Floyd, going to be able to he stayed out in front of those drivers there for 10, 15 laps, even more, and was able to rejoin the tail end of the field around this under this caution flag. And we made mention Rob Collier going to get a free pass there in the 02 car as we get re-racked and restacked and ready to rock and roll once again. I always forget to unlock the door here. We always got a little backdoor policy here at Vidane TV. Usually it's always open. I might have dropped the keys there a little bit, but man, I heard a little bit of a knock there. Kevin England, the B-Man. Kevin, I haven't heard from you in a very long time, man. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here at Vidane TV. Might have caught him off guard there. We're still going to try and get the old cordless headset plugged in there. But Kevin England, good friend here at Vidane TV.
Wait a minute. No, you got it. Hey! Long time no see. How you doing? Can you help here?
Yeah, definitely. I'm getting tired of listening to myself talk here, and that's tough because I really like enjoying myself to speak here. But thanks for joining us here, Kevin. It's been a long time, and man, 100 laps in the books here, just under 100 laps to go. Liberty Racing League kicking things off for their very first race of the season. Championship belt on the line, $100 on the line to win. Man, these guys kick things off. Putting on a great show here so far.
Yeah, who doesn't love a full-length race here at Daytona Speedway? And I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. And recognize a couple names in here, so this should be fun. What happened to Rowdy there in the beginning?
A little bit of connection issues there for the big boss man, Rowdy Wesley Hogue. A couple of laps down at this point. Still a very quick car, though, as he's been able to kind of hold on with the lead lap drivers. And going to give these guys just a quick opportunity to get everything tightened up. We're going to rejoin some green flag racing here momentarily. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Green flag flying once again. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. in the broadcast booth. And, well, just like that, under caution once again. Caution flag flies, and we'll be able to get things restacked, re-racked once again. But Kevin England jumping up in the broadcast booth, getting things kind of situated here. We're going to call the second half of this one. And, man, Wes Laskowski up front, Brian Skidmore, and one of the names we're noticing not any longer in the top 5, top 3, Jared Bullard sliding on back to P7. But there you see, giving these guys another opportunity to potentially come down pit road here, Kevin, and maybe get some tires, get a little fuel. I think fuel strategy is going to be something we're going to be keeping a close eye on here after watching how long these guys can go green.
Yeah, once you get past that halfway point, you start to pay attention. The first half is kind of just ride, feel the car out, look at the strategy, see who's making the moves. But when you get past halfway point, your thinking cap goes on. These guys starting to calculate fuel mileage, where their partners are, and whatever else is going through their brains as they try to count the laps down and get to the finish.
Less than 100 laps to go here in this one. About 92, if my math serves me correctly. The Verdane.net 500. Be sure to swing on over to Verdane.net. Liberty Racing League jumping on in with some new t-shirts, some sweatshirts, a couple of hats in the mix as well. Rent a race car, Angry Tree Guy. Verdane TV, all sorts of different brands over there, some Grand Theft Auto stuff as well, and be sure to use that promo code LIBERTY for 10% off at checkout, and you can see a couple of drivers up towards the front, if not all the drivers up towards the front, utilizing the time to come down pit road, top off, get as much fuel packed into those race cars. They mostly are expecting, it looks like, a lot of this race to be green flag for the rest of this one.
Yeah, at this juncture of the race, when you're going to pit, it's a leisurely pit. You just kind of roll in, find your pit box, look around, maybe take a swig of water, do whatever. Still plenty of time to get up there and get the job done. So no panic at this point.
Drivers have had a couple of opportunities now to come down pit road under caution, come down under green flag conditions here. 2-3 cycles of green flag pit stops in the first half of this race, and these drivers have kind of experienced it all. And it's going to be interesting to see what they can utilize, what they've learned here in the first half, and try to apply it here on the second half. And it's great to see everybody here on Verdane TV. Again, thank you for joining us here tonight. Paul Strickland Jr., Kevin England up here in the broadcast booth, live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know you're watching a little iRacing action here on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So the lights are still on the pace car. We're going to see if we can dial up the boss man here. We're going to get jump on the old admin radio here and see if we can't catch up with Wes Hogue. Wes, it's Paul up at the booth.
Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Not too bad. Great race here so far. Not so much for the Wes Hogue bunch, but for the Liberty Racing League as a whole. Green Flag Racing, a great show here so far tonight.
Yeah, man. I kind of screwed myself over a little bit, to be honest with you. My internet started doing an update, a software update on my internet box in the middle of this race, and unfortunately it put me multiple laps down, and unfortunately we are where we are right now. So it is what it is. Out here still having fun though. It's been a really clean race, Paul. I'm happy with these guys. I'm happy to see how clean it's been. Two cautions within 100 laps. That's not a bad race.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get them lined up here 2x2, lights off in the pace car. Still got open slots for drivers out there trying to join in. How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Liberty Racing League on the old Facebook, or you can find us on iRacing at Liberty Racing League. But Facebook's probably the best way to get a hold of this. If you're watching this, you can see we run pretty clean. We have 30-plus cars, and with 30-plus cars, we're only 2 cautions. So it's been awesome.
All fighting for that championship belt at the end of the season. Wes, time to get back to work. We'll talk to you after the show.
Thank you.
Rowdy Wesley Hogue, one of the race officials here, the owner of the Liberty Racing League, not quite having the night he wanted in the cockpit, but all in all, as a racing official, I've been in that seat before. You're not having the best race yourself, Kevin, but man, it's great to see the league as a whole putting on a heck of a show here live on Verdane TV.
Yeah, these guys, when they run that many laps and have those few cautions, they're really just sizing everybody up and seeing how they're going. They want to race clean. They want to give space. But, you know, when you run that many laps, Paul, it's difficult to stay clean. You get lackadaisical sometimes, and you might brush the car next to you or turn in a little quicker than you think you're going to. It really takes a lot of focus to keep your attention span, and these guys have done a great job so far.
Great restart up towards the front, something we haven't really practiced too much here throughout the racing. It's been green flag racing all evening long, and McClellan, a phenomenal start in that number 12 car, going to pull away by a couple of car lengths, and it's going to be side-by-side between the 75 of Skidmore and Duval Crawl on the 84 up on the high side, and they've got help. Racing starting to intensify here in the second half of this one. Parading down the back straightaway towards turn 3 and 4. A little side-by-side action up towards the front. We've seen that high side strong all night long, even with the lack of cars. 3 or 4 cars have been able to hold off twice as many cars down on that bottom side, as long as they get tucked up together and work together to make sure that draft stays nice and tight. And you can see those 4 drivers up on the high side making the magic happen. Can we give a call to that 02 car? The last caution flag, Rob Collier was a lap down. He's running P5, Kevin.
Yeah, right there in the top. That top line tends to take off. I had a little moment there where Jax was tagged coming out of the corner there by Lakoski and Lakoski. Sorry, gonna try and figure out these names. As Kevin West tucked in behind them. The two of them tandeming down the backstretch here have broken out a little bit over there. But you're right, Collier, solid in third right now. Looking for a little bit of help from Bobby Anderson out back.
A lot of the drivers towards mid-pack on back, seeing that high side work, seeing the momentum. Those leaders are able to gain and pull away just a little bit from the drivers down on the bottom side, and they're starting to drift up a little bit higher. You can see that Napa number 24 of Donovan Gerald, we saw he was a little bit further closer to the front earlier on in this one, up into the top 10 at this point, trying to get a little bit closer, trying to get onto the podium. I'm going to talk to the top 3 drivers here in the post-race show in this one. We're going to be talking to the winner as well. Made mention again, $100 going to the victor here tonight. And Taylor Lasowski in the 83 trying to hold on to that high side. Kevin West, Rob Collier right up there with him. Here comes that 18, the pole sitter, Bobby Anderson. That Gravedigger's moving his way back up towards the front.
Yeah, tough road down on the bottom when all the drivers on the top are organized. You see about 7 cars up there running nose to tail. They're broken up a little bit there as they sweep through the turn 4 banking, but when they come on, they pick up Donovan Gerald. Gerald tried to get right close to the back bumper of that number 73 right there in front of him, Mark Brown, who's tied on the back there. His Camaro tight, and that high line is a little more comfortable for some of these guys, but I don't know how about you, Paul, but I love to just paint that yellow line and ride.
Absolutely, and that's one of my faults in the Super Speedway Series. When I did run back in the day, I would always stay on that bottom side. I would try and get comfortable up on the high side, and for the most part, I am when we're 2 wide. When it gets to be 3 and 4 and 5 wide and you've got no room to back up, you get a little bit nervous, and that's one of my faults. You can almost hear it on the driver radio. All right, we're coming on the 94, coming up on the 94 rather. He's probably going to get a little nervous, a little squirrely, and then I'd find myself up into the outside fence. So I try to keep myself down on the bottom side when I do find myself.
See Wes Hogue peeled off there. 11 laps down. He's going to take his car to pit road as the field streaks past. Changing right side tires there.
Might be off pace just a little bit. We stayed out on that last caution to try and get one of those laps back and get to the 18 car. Beautiful paint scheme for that 18 machine, trying to close up on the lead, trying to make bottom side work for him, and that high side just really has the momentum when they come off the corners. They're really able to open up the RPMs and pull ahead just a little bit, and you can see lots of help up top. There's probably 8 or 9 cars bumper to bumper on that high side.
And the Elswick Esports number 9 Camaro of Adam Benfield sitting back there in that 18th position. He's 1 lap down, trying to stay out in front of car 2 behind him in the slot there. The number 3 of Jason Foskey. Those two, the race within the race to try and be in that lucky dog position should we have an errant caution.
Now worked out perfect for the 49 and the 0-2 last caution flag. They were able to get back on the lead lap and back up into the mix. And how about that run now for Bobby Anderson, the Gravedigger 18 machine? Big push from the 84 Jax Duval Crawl, Nick McClellan in that 12 car. And there is Skidmore in a 75, all bumper to bumper down on the bottom side. Those 4 cars working together once again, and they're up towards the front, but they're still trying to hold off that hard charging outside.
Yeah, you can make that bottom line work if you're going to work together, but you really have to tuck in tight to each other. The bottom 4 are making good run right now as the top 3 trying to come back together. They really need a 4th partner there, and they've lost Mark Brown to the outside lane. So for right now, give the upper hand to the lower side. They've got 5 cars in the mix.
And you can see still trying to stay organized on the high side, a little bit jumbled up now as the 84 going to jump up and try and lead that outside lane, going to try and get down and around, or up and around the 18 car around the outside and make it look easy with that train of cars right in behind him. The 18 car going to hold on to, he's going to slide into the 2nd spot now on the inside line. When Sasaki comes down, he's going to be the leader in the 83 car. He's going to try and drift up in front of the 84. Now he's got that choice to make where he's going to try and lead both lines, and that's what you do not want to happen. Getting caught in the sucker hole, going to be drifting on back for the 83 car.
Not good news for the field as they bear down on Wes Hogue. They're 2 and 3 wide over there on the back straightaway, looking to see if they can get that sorted out. We'll determine whether Wes is going to go low or go high. Right now, he's still hugging that yellow line, so they're going to run up high here, going through the tri-oval. Tedious part of the racetrack to do that. Let's see if everybody can get by cleanly.
So far, so good up front. You can see just how quick that pack up towards the front gets around with that extra draft help. The 38 car not damaged, not under power, just not with the draft. You can see the 18 car, the 75 as well. They're going to get caught up behind Wes because they don't really have enough room to get up in the high side up until Wes gets everything kind of sorted out. And you can see everybody kind of trickling back in the line. But that took out a lot of the organization from the lines here. And now we're just kind of back to side-by-side racing up towards the front. The 17 going to push the 83 to the lead.
Yeah, kudos to Bobby Anderson for having a cool head there. He got trapped in the back there, didn't panic, stayed in there, eased out of the throttle, then picked it up, and he's back to the high side trying to claw his way back up to the front of his pack.
Working a little bit of production feed here issues. I'm not entirely sure what's causes that blinking, but we're going to get that sorted out here before we continue on with the season. The 83 car holding on to the lead right now. West in behind him. Kevin West in the 17 car, piece 2. Nick McClellan, P3. Rob Collier. And Matt Telder in that 2 car. Very strong all night long. Kind of up on that high side right now. Still strong, still up in this one, and still running in the top 5.
Yeah, I tell you, so far I've been impressed with Kevin West. He's just running a clean line, tucked on the back bumper of whoever's in front of him, pushing, holding tight, showing a lot of speed. 2-car tandems like this that get comfortable with each other over these long runs are going to be fierce and a part of this battle towards the end of the race.
And right now, a good opportunity. These drivers know they've been racing for a long time, working lap 121, less than 80 laps to go in this one. That's about the distance of a regular sim racing event here at Daytona. We've already run that and then some, 121 laps in the book. You heard Wes make mention, only 2 quick cautions, 3 quick cautions for small incidences here at Daytona. These drivers putting on a clinic for the Vadane.net 500. And these guys know that there's some fans out there watching. They want to be convinced to come back here every Tuesday night and watch the Liberty Racing League here live on Vadane TV. Maybe even potentially while wearing a Liberty Racing League t-shirt. Check on out Vadane.net. Promo code Liberty for 10% off. Liberty Racing League jumping in with some new t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all sorts of good stuff. It's getting cold outside. Winter months are approaching, and you got to get that hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah, I'm with you here. New Jersey stepped outside today, and I just cannot layered up. I'm such a wuss when it comes to this cold weather. As I continue to watch this battle here for first one lap down, it's shifted in the favor of the number 3 on that high side, sitting right in front of Chad Lancaster, who's tussling for that. Now, I love that 73 paint scheme. such a cool thing for Andy J. And whenever I see it on a racetrack, I just immediately have an affinity to that car.
Lots of different paint schemes throughout the field here tonight, and it's cool to see these drivers rotate through the different cars and makes and models that iRacing has to offer. Next generation Cup cars here tonight. Next weekend, or next Tuesday rather, going to be the Xfinity Series. Trucks the week after that, and then we slide in to the 1987 cars, the old square bodies, the G-body cars here in the iRacing world. That's where the magic happens, and it kind of levels the playing field. Each one of these cars drives just a little bit differently here, Kevin. You're very familiar with that. You do yourself a little iRacing here from time to time.
Yes, sir, and I love that 87 mod. You go in the corner and you think you're going to turn like one of these cars, which stick like glue as yellow is out. Nope, that is not the case. We'll come back to that later as we recap what's going on.
Sort it out and rejoin the field here when we come back live. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. At it again, green flag flies at Daytona, and we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, Kevin. Working a lap 127 here after a quick little caution for the 2 car. The 75 pointed in the wrong direction. Got into contact with that 99, it looked like, as we get some things sorted out here. But ATV HQ back up and running, and so is the 17. Kevin West doing a great job up towards the front. Can we give a call again to that 49 car? We saw him out front of Jared Bolliard as the tail end of the lead lap for about 20 laps. Was able to hold on, stay on the lead lap. A caution flag came out. Was able to rejoin the tail end of the field. He's up there battling for the lead, side by side with the 49, TJ Floyd, going after it with Kevin West.
Not only battling for the lead, he leads the lap as Kevin West gets hip checked, and he's sliding down through the grass over there.
Oh, 18 are wrong. A bunch of cars pointing in the wrong direction.
Darn. Kind of hoping they were going to squeeze through that, but those guys that were 1 lap down, they're loving this.
That's going to give another opportunity to kind of tighten the field back up once again, get some more drivers on the lead lap here as well. And one of the fast cars here of Anderson and the 18 racing design. Instant replay and take a peek. And these drivers know the second half of the race, getting close to that checkered flag, getting close to that $100 bill at the end of it. So they're going to be pushing the issue just a little bit harder as we get closer and closer to the end of this one. But take a peek here at this one. Focus in on that 18 machine down on the bottom side. It starts up front. 17 gets a piece of the action, comes back up into the track, hits the 18. The 75 gets a touch. 73 gets a touch. A couple of bumper cars actions, and I'm very impressed with the field. Everybody getting woed up, slowed up, hitting the brakes, and making sure we avoid calamity here as caution flag flies.
Yeah, a couple bumps there, but, you know, a lot of drivers heads-up driving, especially Matt Swope in that number 82 was hard on the binders, just picking and choosing his way through there. Was able to drive through cleanly. Nice job by that driver trying to avoid all of that.
Caution flies once again for an event that definitely could have been a whole lot worse than it was. A couple of drivers getting a little damage, but nothing all too bad. A couple of multiple car incidents throughout the evening, but definitely some good, clean green flag racing throughout this one. Working lap 129, going to be 70 laps to go here once we cross the stripe here in this one. And it's tough to say that the last 70 laps is going to be the home stretch. That's about how long these drivers are used to running on these super speedways, and we've done that about, well, once and almost twice. There's a couple of drivers peeking down below the double yellow, potentially coming down, definitely coming down. Top 3 drivers going to come down anyway and bring most of the field to get some service, fuel, tires, potentially, but more than likely fuel to get in there. You see TJ Floyd, McClellan, Laskowski, West, all coming down pit road. Looks like Telder, Collier, and Gerald, the only 3 drivers out on pit road, or out on the racetrack still.
Yeah, the drivers will take the opportunity to make sure that they can top off at this point. And certainly the one that is going to have the most work is Bobby Anderson in that number 18. Got dinked in the front when he ran into the sliding car of Kevin West, then got tagged in the back, slid down, tagged in the front. And the bad news for him is, you know, tap, tap, tap on the front to back. And looks like a quick pit service, at least for him. He was down and away pretty quickly, so maybe the damage not so bad there.
Be interesting to see because Bobby Anderson started up on the pole and raced its way, led a bunch of laps in the early goings. This one fell back a little bit, drove his way up through into the top 5, and now finds himself with horrible track position back in the 15th spot. But it looks like the crew was able to get that thing sorted out. Car looks relatively clean here. Lights still on the pace car as we're riding on board here with the leader, the number 2 car, Matt Telder, Rob Collier. On the outside, lights are off on the iRacing pace car, so we're going to get them lined up 2 by 2 throughout the field and go racing here with 69 laps to go. Nice.
There's just nothing like a night race at Daytona, I have to say, right? The visuals and the track and the lights and the shadows and shiny cars. It is so cool to watch this.
And it's neat to see with the iRacing simulator. We started this race during the daytime, the wee hours of the daytime. Got to watch the sunset there in turn 4, and now we're under the lights here as we look for that green flag from Barney up in the flag stand. A pace car down pit road, green flag flying. Once again here on lap number 131, Telder holding on to the lead, but man, oh man, if we got a pack of these in behind them.
Yeah, not the cleanest restart. A lot of drivers checking up there, trying to make sure they're not getting into everybody, and as a result, the field pretty strung out as they head off of turn number 2 to the backstretch.
A lot of times on these restarts, we'll see everybody beeline for the bottom side of the racetrack. This time, we're seeing some drivers kind of go for that high side. Earlier on in this one, we made mention a couple of times that once we got a couple of drivers that were really hooked up on that high side, they were able to make a little magic happen and move themselves a little bit further up towards the front. And the 2-car of Telder, no stranger to that, 18 spots gained from where he qualified. Earlier on in this one, we've seen that 2-car go up and down throughout the field, many different which ways. And he's side by side right now with TJ Floyd. Huge recovery for that 49 car. Been up in front of this pack for most of the race, but spent the most of this race on the tail end of the lead lap. Quick caution flag came out. TJ Floyd was able to rejoin the tail end of the field and is now racing for the lead side by side now with the leader, the number 2 car of Telder, Rob Collier, up there as well. He was the first car one lap down just a few short cautions ago. He's up racing for a podium position.
Yeah, right now Adam Benfield and Jason Foskey, the only 2 drivers one lap down, battling for that position. As you look at the complex of the field, a couple things to talk about, Paul. In that restart, you might have some of the damaged or slower cars in the mix. When they take off, it tends to break the field up, and we have several distinct clumps at this point. Looking at Bobby Anderson, he's tucked in behind the back bumper of Mark Brown. They're running 14th, and they're a full quarter straightaway back from this lead pack, trying to join on to 4-car run with Michael Rogers, Michael Carpenter, Elliott Swope, and Matt Swope. Those guys need to get organized, get nose to tail, and see if they can run that front group down, or they're going to get left behind here.
We even saw these groups break apart earlier on in this one. We actually saw the third group come up around and pass the second group before they were able to kind of rejoin the lead there. So lots of little mini races within the race, within the show. On the lead lap, a couple of drivers on the 1 lap down position, multiple laps down. Drivers all around the racetrack. We're trying to cover it all here on Verdane TV, and I think we're doing a pretty good job with it. And we're live all over the place, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, and a share. Big push now from the O2 car on the outside. Very organized up top. Jared Bollier down to the bottom, trying to gather the troops on the bottom side. He's going to get Laskowski now down to the bottom side. He pulls down as well as the 49 car pulls down on the bottom side. They're going to try and work together to see if maybe they've got something to get around that 2 car.
Yeah, you could see on that long shot that the front group, high side couple cars, low side couple cars, as long as they run side by side, that second group, which is running nose to tail behind them, hopefully we'll be able to chase them down, make this a bigger pack. I wanted to talk about that incident that just occurred. You and I were having conversation during the caution, Paul, about the driving dynamic of this car. The next-gen car, you think you're just riding around here like you're going to pick up your groceries, but you're really wheeling the car. We've noticed that the car builds loose, especially up off the corner on the bottom, and that is maybe a sign of what happened in that previous incident. Swing the car off the corner, the back end steps out, you end up chasing it up, but every once in a while, if there's somebody to your high side, you're going to end up making a little bit of contact.
There you can see some close quarter racing there with the onboard of the number 20 machine, Jared Bolliard, getting holding on to that high side, and you can see really all holding the steering wheel, trying to keep that thing pointed in the right direction, and as we get further on into this, the tires start to wear off. It becomes a handful to drive, but to that, we made mention a couple of different cars that they race in this series, and these guys putting on a heck of a show. Super impressed. 136 laps in. Right now being led by Matt Telder in the 2 car. The O2 is Rob Collier, Kevin West, Taylor Laskowski, and Nick McClellan in the top 5. And taking a peek, timing and scoring showing 19 cars still on the lead lap with less than 7 laps to go.
Well, that was an aggressive move, switching from the high side down to the bottom to lead that low line. And here comes the number 17 of Kevin West. Decided, well, I'm going to make up for what happened before. I'm going to try and get myself out front here when we come back to start finish. He's going to fall just short, but got a little tap from the back bumper of Laskowski. just trying to push his way through in the Goodwrench Services Camaro number 83.
Right now, he's got a mirror full, or he's got a windshield full of that 17 car, the trailer park dude, trying to lead that bottom line up towards the front, and the 49 there as well, trying to kind of get lined up down on the bottom side. You can see Boyer going to jump down on the bottom side once again and try and get tightened up, trying to get these cars pushed together. They know on the bottom side they need to work together to make sure that they get the drafting help that they need to get up around those drivers on the high side. The two-car doing everything he needs to do right now. Him, Rob Collier, Nick McClellan, Brian Skidmore holding pretty lines up on that high side of the racetrack.
Yeah, well, these front drivers are tussling. The Swope Incorporated driver sitting there, Elliott and Matt staying tucked nose to tail, trying to run that front group down. They've not made a lot of purchase on it, but they are still mostly organized there. They've got a little help from Michael Carpenter in the 5. So see a little blinking from Elliott's car. That's got to make those guys a little bit nervous, but they keep their foot in it.
And that's one of the things you really got to focus on. When you're in real race car, electronics is definitely an issue, and that's no stranger here with sim racing as well. There's lots of different things that could go wrong, and, well, many times we've seen them go wrong here on the day in TV. So connection issues, hardware issues, computer issues, all things that are going on in these drivers' minds, all while controlling these things, getting around the racetrack for 200 laps, 500 miles. Just taking a look, we're 2 hours into this race. So you may mention you start to talk about fatigue, and a lot of folks out there will kind of chuckle with that. So, it's a video game. It's still going to be wearing on you. A lot of these drivers sweating. Your arms are tired. A lot of green flag running here, too. So, there's not really an opportunity for these drivers to kind of take a quick breath that you might get in some short track racing where you'll get a couple of cautions here and there. And we've had some long green flag runs, and it's getting to be about 10-15 or so here on the East Coast, getting close to bedtime for a lot of these drivers. You got to wonder if that's going to be playing in a factor.
Yeah, it's no joke what you talk about. You're in the seat. Some of these drivers, they have cockpits and wheels and buttons and headsets and other things, and you're so concentrated on the car in front of you, looking in the mirror behind you, trying to hold your line, make those moves. And if you're doing it for hours at a time, it really does enter into the factor of fatigue.
60 laps to go here in the Liberty Racing League season opener, the Vidane.net 500, and still not quite too crazy organized outside of the top three. You can see the 2 and the 12 still working together as they have for most of the evening. Taylor, Collier, and West holding on to the podium spots for right now, but Nick McClellan, Taylor Laskowski, TJ Floyd all up in the mix. And they want a piece of the action. They want that $100 to win this very first race of the season. And they will come home tonight with the points lead to make sure that everybody out there knows that they're going to be in the battle for that championship belt at the end of the season. And you can check out the design for that championship belt over on the Liberty Racing League Facebook page. Just do a quick search for Liberty Racing and pops right up. You can see the design for that championship belt. Very jealous. Very cool looking design. And these drivers are going to be battling it out, doing everything they can to come out on top at the end of this one, and at the end of the season to get that belt.
46.719 for your leader, Matt Telder, and then you have a 46 and 596 for Swope. Certainly those guys are faster, as we had one down on the apron. And that second group has pretty much run down this first pack, and they're just about to join them.
And it's going to be interesting to see where those drivers fall in line, if they just go right around the high side, down on the bottom side, or if they kind of get mixed in with the rest of the drivers that are up through here. You can see we don't really have multiple lines kind of defined here at this point, other than the front drivers in that high line. They've pretty much committed to that high line, that four-pack of drivers up on the top. You can see the 83 now taking a run down the bottom. He's got the 49 car as well, and a pretty good run, pretty good team of momentum as they come out of turn number 4, but you can see just not quite enough steam to get up to that lead. Gonna have to get a couple of more cars to get that pack tightened back up down the bottom side.
Yeah, don't want to miss this action that occurred a moment ago off of turn number 4. Quick hands for Kevin West. It was Brian Skidmore up in the high line in that slide that we talked about for Skidmore out of 4. His car got sideways, had to check up a little bit. Kevin West yanked it left, went down onto the apron where you do the entry to pit road, but was able to carry the speed, come back out, and stay right in there. That could have easily been a caution.
Speaking of things that easily could have been a caution, great heads-up save there from Duval in the 84 car. Holy smokes. Gets down and away. This is a bunch of transition, but man, oh man, that could have been a whole lot worse. And we made mention, Kevin, that second pack seems to have joined that first pack, and now that third pack is starting to kind of close things back up here a little bit. I think we've got ourselves a bit of a pack here come on to the end of this one.
Great big family, and that's the thing. You're riding in that third pack and you watch the laps tick off and you don't know whether there'll be another caution, and you're just thinking to yourself, are we gaining this lap? Are we gaining this lap? You really get focused on being tight to the car in front of you to see if you can gain, and every time you pick up a tenth, it's almost like a cheerleader. Come on, let's go.
And the mood is about to change here in this one. 55, 56 laps to go. All race long, these drivers have had it in the back of their head. Long race mentality, 200 laps, 500 miles. Got to finish the car in one piece. Got to make sure everything. You got to finish the race before you can finish first. A lot of that's going to start to go out the window as we're now 3 wide there, second in line to get that all sorted out as a 51 car goes a lap down. But it's getting towards the end. We've seen a lot of give and take. We've seen some great clean racing throughout this one, Kevin. But I think as we get closer and closer to the end of this one, to get to the white flag, it's going to be dicey. A lot more take, I think, on the menu.
Yeah, these drivers have to realize you still got 50 laps to go, 1/3 of the race or 1/4 of the race in front of them. Don't do anything drastic now, but it is a really good point, Paul, that there's going to come a point where you're going to want to put yourself up near that top 5 and be there for the finish so that you can try that run or whatever move it is to get yourself the money at the end of the game.
Money, bragging rights, and that championship belt, and just an awesome championship. It's just a cool kind of thing. You get a lot of trophies, you get a lot of banners, you get a lot of plaques. You don't get that championship belt. The drivers know that they want to get themselves a piece of that action, and the opportunity lies with Jarrett Bollier, currently running in the P8 to calling himself Jarrett Two Belts, as he's got one of the old Daytona Racing. He's got the Daytona Racing Sim 500 Super Speedway Series championship belt. Here live on Daytona TV, and that was a lot of fun. Beautiful championship belt there for Jarrett. Got lost in the mail once or twice. Finally got it to him. Got to watch him unbox that thing live. And he's the only driver in the field that's going to be able to try and hold on to 2 of those championship belts. If he can come home with the Liberty Racing League Series, Super Speedway Series belt. That's a lot of words to mash in under one banner, but it's good to very well be calling Jarrett 2 belts at the end of the season. But we'll see. Going to be a tall glass of water to drink here, because we've got some fast drivers throughout the field, and that 2 car is still very powerful, holding on to it. But that bottom side starting to put back together a little bit tighter now.
Yeah, TJ Floyd running second right now, tucked in on the back bumper of Taylor Luskowski. Taylor riding down underneath the number 21 of Mike Peel, a little bit off the pace to the high side, running by himself. So all of these top drivers having to run cautiously down underneath, going to make it 3 wide here and there. And Mike is going to look to see if he can catch a little bit of draft and stay with these guys as they drive on by.
The front 3 breaking away a little bit. Luskowski, Floyd, and West. They're all trying to get away from that 2 car. You can see leading the outside line right now, but a few car lengths back. And we had the pack kind of go around that 21 car. No harm, no foul, but it did kind of slow the momentum there on that high side for now. You can see some of the drivers trying to peek down low, maybe catch a little bit of draft, maybe build themselves a little bit of run. You can see the 2 of Taylor going to tuck in behind the 17 of West, get himself a little bit of draft, a little bit of momentum, and a big push from the 02 right in behind him, McCollier. He's going to try and maybe slingshot. There he goes. Going to try and slingshot up around the outside, and that's only going to work as far as the guys behind him follow him. It looks like everybody pretty much committed to the bottom side right now as we quickly approach the 50 to go mark as we come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, I'll tell you, with the top drivers up there on that bottom line, it becomes treacherous out of turn 4. We see one car yaw sideways just about every lap over there. That dynamic that we talked about, where the car just does not want to hold on the right rear coming out of the corner. It's been tedious. One of the things we've not talked about, Paul, is how do these drivers stack up from a teammate standpoint? This is a type of race, time of the race, when you want to find your teammate and see if you can get that push. It's hard to gain positions at this juncture of the race. Everybody pretty much running the same speed. It's a great time to find a teammate and see if you can work your way forward with a little bit of help from your friends.
And once you get down to the final quarter of the race or so, that's really when you start to see those friends, those teammates, heck, even sometimes frenemies working together and know that they just seem to work together. You can see some aggressive bumps now starting from these drivers up towards the front. You saw the 49 give the 83 a good shot there, and really able to pull away by a couple of car lengths. You don't want to get too far out here in front of the pack, because they'll kind of gain momentum and drive right on by you. But these drivers know they're going to start pushing the issue. They're really going to start trying to square up in the back bumper of the guy in front of them. And at that point, it's balls to the wall. You're going to try and get, if you're not going to win the race, you may as well try and push the guy in front of you to the victory. Always ends up for exciting racing, but it's always going to have the drivers kind of keeping their heads on a swivel.
Yeah, and in this mix, we can't forget that we have a couple of cars that are a lap down or a bunch of laps down, and they tend to play a factor in the end. They have the right to race in there and see if they can get their laps back, but they also will play the teammate card. If you're a couple laps down, but your teammate is in the hunt to win, you're going to stay there and help them. They're not interfering with the race. They're part of the strategy.
And a lot of strategy going to be playing into this one as well. At least one more pit stop for these drivers if this thing stays green. Even if it does get a caution flag to fly, these drivers still going to have to come down for fuel and potentially tires. We've seen 2 tires and no tires earlier on in this one. And you and I talked off air there, Kevin. Once we get about 25, 30 laps into the set of tires, really starts to kind of upset the back of the car, and it's a lot to hold on to. So I think 4 tires is going to be the name of the game, the call of the race, but I still think we're going to see somebody try and take maybe 2 tires, even potentially no tires on this last pit stop coming up.
It's going to be fun to watch the strategy. Most drivers, when you get to this stage of the race, if they can handle it, they'll take 2 tires and fuel, because the time it takes to load the fuel in, they can change those 2 tires and not lose anything on position. But what's more important is you don't go to pit road by yourself. One thing that is going to be evident, all those gaps that we see, front, nose to tail, side to side, they get tighter and tighter and tighter as the laps go down. Less give, more take all the way to the finish. And I suspect that we're going to see some extracurricular activity and bumping the farther along we get into this race.
Keep an eye on that high side. We made mention we don't have any official team rosters right now. We'll definitely get that for next week, so we can kind of follow along with the long-term storytelling, taking a little page out of the wrestling book and throw it into the sim racing world. But keep an eye on the 2 and the 12. Those drivers have been working together all night long here, Kevin. Matt Telder in the 2, Nick McClellan in the number 12. And one of the things, different manufacturers, Telder is in a Ford and McClellan's in a Toyota. One driver's from America, one driver's from Canada. And, well, different sponsors, different paint schemes. But those drivers have been bumper to bumper throughout the field from the start, up towards the front, back towards the pack, pitting together, working together all night long. And sometimes you work with your friends. Sometimes you just find a car that lines up just right.
Yeah, you never know when you strap in on the helmet who you're going to end up working with and whether that's going to work out for you. But every once in a while you find an odd bedfellow where just back bumper, and that's the way it's going to work. Come on. We keep seeing that turn 4 peril over there.
Calamity avoided once again. Give a call to that 3-car, Jason Foskey. Great heads-up driving. Did a little maintenance down to the grass, but he was able to hold on to it, keep the car pointed in the right direction, held on to the draft, and, well, now he's picking up momentum on the high side. He's going to try and get back up towards the front. But, Kevin, I'm impressed with this pack of drivers, this entire field of drivers. Heads-up driving all night long, really good wreck avoidance, and we've seen a couple of incidents throughout the night. But for a 200 lap, 500-mile race at Daytona, it has been very, very clean, and it's been some great racing so far here tonight. And we're getting down to it. 45 laps to go, and you can see coming out of turn 4, we're going to mention it more and more as we keep going in this run. These tires are starting to wear out. It's getting crazy out of turn 4.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I went back to look at a couple of things. The Swope and Swope machine, they've dropped off this pack again. They're out in the back. I don't know if that was by design or they just lost the sniff of the draft towards, the end of that run that they had to get up with that pack. But they're back organized again and trying to run them down. That might end up being a fortune depending on how things play out, because if there's trouble, it's likely to be up in that front pack, and they'll have time to get on the binders here. But time's running out for these guys. They're going to have to run up in there if they're going to want to be a part of this contest.
And sometimes when there's 8, 12, 15 cars in a lead pack like this, Kevin, you know that you get that gut feeling that you're getting down to the final laps of it. These drivers are going to be putting all 125% up on the dash, and they're going to be racing for everything, especially when there's a new crisp $100 bill on the line for the victory here tonight. So, yeah, you're seeing everybody line up. There's about 20 cars in that pack, and it's the calm before the storm. You have 43 laps to go in this one. It's about to get hectic.
Yeah, this front group has gotten nose to tail all the way through, which is going to make it tough for those drivers out in front of them. But they're about to come up on a gaggle of cars there. You got David Watts, Dan Withers, Duval Crawl, and a couple others right out in front of the leaders as now some peel off and go to pit road.
Little bit of distraction with some lap cars. Going to take advantage of that is the 2 car, the 12, the 35, all coming down pit road. We'll take a peek. We're going to follow that 2 car. That car is not leaving the ground. Fuel only for the 2, it looks like. And might be fixing a little bit of damage. Kind of a long stop for just fuel, it looks like. Still sitting on pit road finally. Down in the way, the 12 car, same thing. No tires there, as well as the 35. So that's going to be interesting to see. Jared Bollier back up front, going to take over the lead. TJ Floyd, Kevin West, Skidmore, and Laskowski right now. But they're going to come down pit road once again.
Yeah,
short answer? No.
Time to do here, huh? You see, the 24 has peeled off to go to pit road, getting some service. Donovan Gerald trying to find his pit box. We'll see if he gets in cleanly, and he's going to slide in, and let's see if it's 4 tires and fuel. Looks like maybe fuel only for the number 24 Napa Camaro. Michael Rogers in the number 99 also. Service done. That Toyota drives away.
Big gaggle of cars here. Some of the drivers coming off pit road, and a lot of drivers on this lead pack not really sure where to go in this one as they merge back up into the field. This is really going to mix things up as a lot of those drivers, all of the drivers still on the lead lap, have to come down pit road yet. And I think Rob Collier made a good call. He's gonna avoid that whole mess and just come down pit road, get his final stop lead.
Darren Mack currently scored in the 22nd position, went in for looks like his final service.
Focusing in on that purple machine, the purple Yahoo number 20. That is the leader right now. Jared Bolliard coming up on heavy lap traffic. All these drivers up in front of him coming off of pit road, taking fuel only. You can see they're all down on the bottom side. They're trying to stay on the lead lap. No, Bolliard knowing he has to pit. The 3 car slides up, is still slicing and dicing through some of this lap traffic, and you can see Bolliard going up high again. A couple more drivers going to jump down pit road, get some service for potentially their final stop of the evening. With crossing the stripe once again, Bolliard still holding on to the lead, but has to make that final pit stop, has to come down once more. Another half dozen drivers or so. Brown, the Swope and Swope connection, Anderson and Carpenter all down pit road, Jackson all down, as well as Wesley Ho.
Yeah, see, the Matt Swope car missed his pit box, had to back up a little bit, now taking right side tires as Yellow is out on the speedway.
Drivers getting their stuff up there on pit road. We're going to see if we can pull up where that caution flag potentially.
Trouble for the 52 maybe?
52 car seems to be pointed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, got quarter paneled there.
Here you can see off the pace down the bottom side of the track. So we'll see if we can pull up the old U-House Race Designs instant replay. And we appreciate U-House Racing Designs jumping on board here with us for the season of racing here on Vidane TV. Be sure to check them out on Facebook. Lots of iRacing paint schemes, logo designs, all sorts of cool stuff, as well as some neat button boxes put together that we've got here using for a lot of sim racing and a lot of other games. It seems to work out very well. But U-House Racing Designs, always appreciate them being on the instant replay. And here's where it is. Take a peek. 52 car, trying to get around the 21 car, multiple laps down, struggling with the handling on that machine. Everything looks good up until that point. 21 car not quite clear. Gets into the corner panel and just kind of sends 51 car around. But unfortunately, just being up in the racing groove like that could have been a whole lot worse, but definitely could have been better.
Yeah, I think you called it right. Just misjudged trying to get back in underneath. It's so important to get back behind that car, tuck in tight, and try and pick up the draft. And that was just the draft going wrong. Tell that girl's going wide.
I'd have left sooner, but I was trying to process what in the world timing and scoring is trying to tell us. Jared Bulliard currently scored the leader. Looks like the leaders are coming back down pit road. I think. But they're definitely coming down pit road. So Bulliard, Floyd, Laskowski, West, Skidmore giving up top 5 positions to come down pit road. And you look for 7 laps to go. Is that a fuel run? Do you think they can make that?
It's hard to say, I don't know if these drivers in that top group are running 3/4 throttle. They seem to be right on top of each other trying to come forward whenever they get the chance, which means they probably got it matted all the way around. Hard to say if they're trying to save fuel here.
Getting timing and scoring kind of sorted out here is taking a little bit of an extended caution period here. Not really any kind of major incidents throughout the night. Couple of multiple car incidents, couple of single car spins here as well. But all in all, a fantastic race. Liberty Racing League kicking off their season here with a 500-mile race at Daytona, the longest race we've done here live on Vidane TV. And it's the Vidane.net 500. Be sure to check out Vidane.net. Lots of Vidane TV gear, rent a race car, Angry Tree Guy, Visual Pollution. And oh, by the way, Liberty Racing League jumping on in with some t-shirts, some tank tops, there's some cool workout shorts in there, all rocking the Liberty Racing League logo. And be sure, once you get to checkout, do a little Christmas shopping in there. Use that promo code Liberty, get yourself 10% off at checkout. So cool stuff in there. And Liberty Racing League still looking for partners throughout the season. Lots of races coming up here. These guys going to be racing here with us Tuesday nights, each and every Tuesday night here live on Vidane TV, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we get things kind of sorted out here up towards the front. I think we're getting ready to go green flag racing here eventually. Still trying to get the field sorted out behind the pace car, but great to have you here joining us here tonight. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, live, interactive. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for, and be sure to give us a quick like, subscribe, a follow, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know they're watching some iRacing action here on Tuesday night. And I think we almost got it sorted out here. The 70th, no, we're not close. The 99's a lap down. There comes the 17. I think he's in second. I think we're getting there.
Yeah, we saw some extended pit stops, and that means one of two things, and I'm just going to call it what it is. Some of these drivers getting some damage fixed, and some of them are taking a pit stop while they're making a pit stop, if you know what I mean. And I think, this long into a race, that is one of the only perks you have for a sim race, is that you could take a break if you need to in these extended cautions. And we see a couple of these drivers give up the lead, like Bulliard, and now he's going to join into the back of the pack. Still enough time to run through the pack, but got a lot of work to do to get up there and be up in that top 5 like we talked about earlier.
A couple of drivers familiar with the front, but they haven't been there in a little bit. Anderson in the 18 car going to restart on the outside of the 73. But Mark Brown going to restart on the inside of row number 1. The 5 car, Michael Carpenter up there. The swope combination of Matt and Elliott there in 4th and 5th. Chad Lancaster, Leon Keniston, Kevin West, Tyler Lazowski, TJ Floyd going to be the top 10 as we're green flag racing once again here at Daytona. 35 laps to go in this one, and we're racing once again.
Grabbing a gear, that top line looks pretty good and organized toe to toe there. And while they're trying to come up to full speed, it takes them to get to the backstretch to do it. The closer they are together, the better run they get off the corner here. And they've separated a little bit on that high line, but they're starting to get organized, and they're going to surge ahead here by the time they get to 3.
Organization up top, organization down on the bottom, drag racing down the backstretch into 3 and 4. These drivers know that it is time. Any plan that they had in the back of their head, they get going, they need to get going now, and they need to get up towards the front. For the most part, I believe we're good on fuel, but there's a couple of drivers that might be just a little bit short. We're going to have to see how it plays out here as we're side by side all the way throughout this field in this one.
Yeah, updating the fortunes of the 3 of Jason Foskey. He's back on the lead lap right now, running in that 15th position. And it appears that we have 3 or 4 drivers out there trying to compete for Lucky Dog and see if they can become a factor in this. Is split the difference through the middle. Wes Hogue, he's got a fast run going through the back of the pack in that number 38.
Yeah, having some internet issues with the 38 car early on in this one. Tough break for the 38 car, but letting these drivers know he's going to be around all season long, and he is going to be a contender for that championship belt when all is said and done. And the Cole Bohannon number 38 machine trying to work up towards the front of the pack and put on just a little bit of a show and make sure that everybody knows that team is in fact here to fight. But everybody up here in the fighting world in the 5, single file for the most part, and then it breaks side by side back from 6th on back, and you can see everybody trying to chase down the Mark Brown machine.
Yeah, that Gravedigger machine does not look like it's up to speed here. He just got tagged a little bit there by Taylor Luskowski and almost sent around it. I'm not sure if some of those dings and dangs that we saw a little bit earlier have slowed that car down a little bit, but the 18 does not look to speed here on the outside.
We saw Anderson Strong early on, started from the pole, led a bunch of laps earlier on, and kind of fell through the pack. Made his way back up towards the front, but like you said, seems to be an anchor at the front of the pack there on that high side. As you can see, they're all the way back now outside of the top 10 as they get around. The 18 kind of lets it go on and comes in third in line now, and they're going to see if Luskowski can kind of pull them back up towards the front. But in the meantime, the front 5-6 cars kind of single file, not really working together right now, but not working against each other. As you can see, the 82 car kind of taking a peek up on the high side. He's going to try and lead the high side to the field.
Kind of surprised because the pattern has shown that the high side is stronger here if you can get more cars organized, and maybe that's why the 82 jumped outside. But the top 4 running nose to tail right now are going to be tough to wrestle to the ground here as they come across the stripe to complete lap 168, working lap 169.
A couple of drivers going up, and there's a couple of matching paint schemes up towards the front. That slope pair, the 42 and the 82, working together very, very well, changing lanes with each other. They're running 2nd and 3rd right now, and they've got their sights set on the lead. And well, that paint scheme up in the lead looks like it's a very similar one. So Kevin, it looks like we got 3 teammates, 1, 2, and 3, and man, there we go. That's a couple of good-looking race cars right there.
Yeah, I think they might have been playing a little bit of possum. Now they're going to start to show their hand and see what's going on as everybody's trying to wrestle. But, you know, if they stay tucked nose to tail there and can keep those laps consistent, they're going to be tough to wrestle to the ground here.
Going to be a tough call to wrestle a bunch of Warriors down. You got the Warriors Motorsports trio, 1, 2, and 3. We've seen them kind of work together throughout the entire race, but it was about mid-pack on back, and now that we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, 30 laps to go here in the Verdane.net 500. Those Warrior cars, 1, 2, and 3, they are paper thin and behind, and the third car doing exactly what he needs to do. Textbook drafting for a 3-car pack right there. Those guys are going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, I love to watch those guys that lay in wait, that just don't make any noise, and then all of a sudden when the paychecks in the window there. They're trying to get there to collect. You look at Leon Keniston in that 933 running in the 5th position. Have we mentioned that name in the last 20 minutes? Not at all. Sitting right there now in the hunt for the win.
The top 5, 14 spots gained from where he qualified, and showing he's got a good car. He's got what it takes to be up front, and what it takes to be in the top 5, but does he have enough to get up and around those leaders? And those 3 Warrior cars, Warrior Motorsports machines, Carpenter, Slope, and Swope, really tough to get around, and I'll say that until I'm blue in the face. You can see working very well together. But the 2 cars showing up the top side, trying to get those guys to get lined up. You can see the 22 car kind of dipped back a little bit. Chad Lancaster dropped that Ford back just a little bit, kind of gained a little strength back. He's going to tuck in behind there Wes Hogue and the 83 and the 2 car. And they're going to try and get that top side kind of gathered up and see if they can make a little magic happen.
Yeah, it almost seems like a law firm, Swope, and Carpenter up front in control of this race, as these 3 look like they're got a game plan and they're executing to the best of their ability right now as the laps wind down.
Good clean green flag racing all evening long here for the Liberty Racing League. Check these guys out on Facebook, looking for sponsors, looking for drivers, and looking for fans. Going to be watching Liberty Racing League here on Vidane TV each and every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Not going to be a full 500-mile race each week, but still going to be a whole lot of fun. Check these guys out on Facebook, facebook.com/Liberty Racing League, and getting down to it, looking like 27 laps to go, 26 as we cross the stripe, and Motorsports up front, Carpenter, Slope, Brown, Keniston. Easy enough for me to say. The top 5, but for how long? That 2 car up front, car down on the outside, couple of cars heading towards the inside grass. The 17 of West holds on to it, hit a couple of bumps, comes back up, and just cross-checks the 99. That might have been what we call a receipt, but we'll pull up the U-House Racing Design instant replay and take a peek at what happened.
That almost looked like off the top rope and onto the table.
Oh, and the table was on fire, it looked like.
You know, there's a bump when you come across the grass right there, and once you sail, you're just kind of out of control. You feel like you're going to just drive yourself across the grass and go back up on the racetrack, but you hit that bump back there, and then you're along for the ride. And
we're in on quite a ways on a set of tires here, so that's definitely something. There's some 3-wide action, the touch from the 17, and got everything good here. Green. Yeah, that 17, that driver was holding that wheel all the way to the left, but you can't control the wheels when they touch the ground, unfortunately.
Yeah, you don't really want to lift, because if you do, you're toast. But yet again, you want to live another day. Sometimes it's kind of like that dynamic, Paul, when you're crashing and you have no brakes and you're going into the corner and you turn down when you really should turn up, but you just can't help yourself.
Yeah, or like when you roll an ATV and you think you really should hold on to the quad, but then you find out the quad's way over there and you land on the shoulder. Yeah, that's I don't recommend that. But
if there was a mileage situation, it's going to get solved here. It's just about everybody going to pit road.
I was going to say is the one thing that's definitely certain. We're going to get some fuel. Are we going to get tires? We noticed these drivers starting to get a little squirrely as laps go on, and we'll take a peek. We're going to try and see down pit road who's going to come off first. And a couple of 2-tire stops so far. Looks like definitely looks like fuel only for the Motorsports trio, because Carpenter, Swope, they're down and away.
Yeah, I didn't see any right side tires going on, and I looked pretty much through the whole field, and I would like me a right rear at this point if I could have one.
Yeah, I'd like actually 4 right rear tires here for the last 25 if I can. just harden those up just a little bit if you don't mind. But this is going to be interesting because it takes the fuel mileage out of the equation, and these drivers know that they definitely can make it at the end, so they don't have to save. And you're not going to be able to save any fuel here trying to get around these 3 drivers. It is going to be an interesting restart, though, to see how these Warrior Motorsports drivers kind of work together at 1, 2, 3 spots.
I did see 4 tires and fuel go on for the number 18 of Bobby Anderson, and I know the 73 took at least right sides. Let's see if he went all 4. Now, right side tires for Mark Brown in the number 73. So there were a couple good years bolted on here in this pit exchange.
Again, the driver's under caution here. Couple of quick little incidents throughout the evening here tonight, but all in all, green flag racing all evening long. Great racing, great debut for the season here for the Liberty Racing League Cup Series, and made mention Super Speedway Series back and forth between Talladega and Daytona. I believe we do make a stop at Atlanta at one point or another here throughout the season. Rotating cars as well. We got the next gen Cup cars this week, next week in the Xfinity cars. We go into the Truck Series, and then we go into the 87 cars, and so on and so forth. Rotate, rinse, lather, and repeat, and really opens up the dynamic. All those cars drive very differently, so it really kind of levels the playing field a bit, and it gives each driver kind of an opportunity to shine in their different car. But getting things gathered back up. Lights were off the iRacing pace car. We're lined up 2x2 all the way through. Michael Carpenter going to start in P1. And the Swope pair, Elliott Swope in the 42, Matt Swope in the 82. We watched these two teammates work their way up through the field like the field was standing still. And we're going to see what they can do here on the restart. TJ Floyd, a great recovery for that 49 car, that green and black machine. 15, 20 laps on the tail end of the lead lap, held out in front of the leaders, got that lead lap back, and up here battling for the lead. Rob Collier, same scenario for the O2 car. Found himself the first car 1 lap down many moons ago in this one, up in the top 5, and we're going to be taking a restart with 24 laps to go. Kevin, this is going to get crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. As the field rolls through 3 and 4, getting ready for the pace car to make that left, you see Donovan Jarrell in the number 24 joining the back of the pack. I believe he was the lucky dog, put him back in the mix as he comes up. He's doing a cold trickle here. He's wide open trying to catch the field before they get the green. His green flag is out, and we're back underway here.
Eye on those front 3 cars, and there you see exactly what's up they needed. They got a little bit of a gap opened up, and that's a dangerous combination for the rest of the field. But how about the 49? TJ Floyd sliding on in. Knows that he can either work with those guys and get himself a good finish, or at least break up the trio. So they aren't as powerful as they were before. But you can see the front 5, 6, 7 cars kind of single file for right now. Taylor Scott's going to take a peek on the outside, try and see if he can get the magic to happen. But here comes that 2 car. He's got a whole bunch of cars up and behind him. This is going to be good.
Yeah, I don't know that Matt wants to break up the law firm there and include Floyd. It's always better with a 3-name mix here. We'll see whether or not he could work his way through. But right now, top 4 running nose to tail with the 02 of Rob Collier and the 83 of Tyler Laskoski running side by side there, trying to rank the run. And tell you, Taylor and the number 82 running up there, Matt Swope, they look like a good combination, those 2 cars.
See that combo breaking up just a little bit. You got a outside Warrior down at the bottom, and the 2 Warrior cars hooked up on the top side. They're trying to get lined up, and the caution flag flies once again. And that's going to give these guys kind of an opportunity to rethink what they were working on before as we kind of sift through the field. And I'm trying to see where that caution flag may have been. It looks like it might have been 51. But we'll take a peek. The U.S. Racing Designs instant replay.
Yeah, coming up off the corner.
A little bit light in the back of the car, it looks like. So we take a peek. U.S. Racing Design instant replay. 51 kind of drifts up, and well, the 24 car was there. It might have been on the spotter at that point, but again, kind of a big hit for the 59 car. A couple of cars in this one, but definitely could have been a little bit worse for the wear. Man, it's given us a late race restart. It's given us another opportunity for these drivers to maybe come down. Maybe they do want those 4 tires or 2 tires, or maybe the crew didn't get it full. What if this, what if that? Lots of different things going through your head. Going to get this restart more than likely with less than 20 laps to go, which I mean, which plan do you go with?
Foot to the floor. That's the plan I'd go with, Cotton.
10-4 on that. Here we go.
I'll tell you what, I was looking at Kurtz going around there, and I have to wonder if the right rear tire was on the seam coming out of there, and that's why that car stepped out and then wobbled across the nose of the 24. There is a seam over there in turn 2, and if you're wide open running all the pressure on that right side tire and it's on that seam, it can step out every once in a while for you, and that might have had a play in that.
Yeah, iRacing does a phenomenal job making these racetrack surfaces as identical to real life as possible with laser scanning and all the different tools that they're able to use, and it definitely makes for difficult racing throughout this one. And you can see we're getting them lined up. These drivers are already 2x2. We still have the lights on the pace cars. So we got at least a lap and a half or so to go. But these guys want to get going. They want to get to the end of this race and see who's going to get that $100. See who's going to leave here with the points battle. Who's going to get into the championship playoffs, and who's got the opportunity. Who's going to fight for that championship belt here at the end of the season. It all kicks off with the first race, and I got to say, I'm very impressed. These guys doing a heck of a job. There go the lights. Lights off in the iRacing pace car. They're already lined up 2x2 all the way through, and we're going to be going racing once again here, and it's going to be interesting to see once again these Warrior cars up in the front. 1, 2, and 4. They're broken up by TJ Floyd, who kind of stuck his nose up on in there, and he wants to try and spoil the fun for his teammates up in the front. That's going to be tough to beat, going to be tough to get around them, especially if they get hooked up bumper to bumper to bumper. But we're going to find out together here as we get to restart. Once we cross the line, it's going to be 20 laps to go, and the iRacing lights are off on that pace car. There he goes. He's going to go down the safety at pit road, grab one last corn dog, one last Coke, and make sure that he's got the Verdane TV broadcast pulled up on the old tablet down there, because we're going to get that green flag. We're going to go racing. We're going green, and there you see it, a great jump, exactly what Swope needed to do. He's going to slide on up right in front of his teammates and try and get those drivers lined up 1, 2, 3, and they're going to be on the strong side of the racetrack up top. Nope, they're going to switch lanes and go down on the bottom. Either way, 1, 2, and 3, those drivers are going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, textbook play there for Elliott. He went up, picked up his teammates. Once he had them collected, went down to the bottom line to protect it. No run, nose to tail, off to the back straightaway with a good run covering. Now, TJ Floyd, they've broken him up. Floyd was doing exactly what he needs to do when you have teammates dominating the race. You need to break them up, but that time there's just nothing he was going to do. He's got to hope that Taylor Laskoski can get in the back bumper and move that car to the high side and see if they can make a run and break these guys up.
And you see everybody lined up in those front six down on the yellow line. 7 cars joining on, and 73 of Mark Brown wants to join the party as well. And they are pushing hard on that bottom side, not even really leaving the opportunity for that high side to get any momentum unless they get a run from the back of the bottom side. You can see Laskoski going to jump up on the high side. The 2 joins him as well. A couple of other cars now on the high side as well. Jared Bolliard going to rejoin this front pack, and there's still a couple of cars lined up in that third pack that are going to try and get a run. With 19 laps to go, though, anything can happen. 1.5 miles around this racetrack. There's plenty of racing for this action to happen.
Well, I tell you, they're so loose off the corner over there in 4. I think I saw the pace car get loose while he was trying to cut left to go to pit road. And now we have Matt Telder running in the 8th position in the number 2. I've not talked about him tonight, but he's in the mix coming down to the end of this.
Getting pretty slicey and dicey all the way through the field. Rob Collier going to jump up on the high side, and that red and blue car going to bring the 83 of Taylor Laskoski with them. They're going to try and make the high side work. The 2 car trying to tuck in potentially up on the high side. 18 laps to go as we race down the back straightaway. Rob Collier casting up in the mix as well. Telder, Skidmore, McLellan, West, all these drivers still up in the mix. Oh, by the way, there's the 3 car. We saw him pointed in the wrong direction at one point or another. Foskey with good recovery. Up in the top 10. And right outside the top 10. They almost got it back with the 75 car. Pointed in the wrong direction. Caution flag flies. A couple of other cars collected. And, man, as far as the night goes here, Kevin, more cars hitting the brakes as we get right up into it. That compared to everything else, that's the big one.
Yeah, pretty sizable incident there. We saw West with a good run, didn't want to leave it up, and he got to the outside of the 933 I think they just brushed each other, and unfortunately it sent West up, and there was an incident out in front of them. Behind that, the number 73 of Mark Brown also got tagged coming out of 4 there by the 83. So we had 2 separate incidents going on there. 83 hard into the wall.
Getting down to it, it's you can see the 83 up there making a little contact with Collier, but there's the incident here. 17 gets a piece of it, 75. Oh, big hit there for, that's the 9 car. 22 gets a piece, 44 gets a piece as well, and then here comes that other pack. It looks like everybody out of harm's way. We'll see if we can take a peek. It was the 83, I believe he said. We'll see if we can back that up. Just a bit. There you see it. As we're going backwards, second incident, almost simultaneous. 83 comes down, clips the quarter panel to 73 up into the outside fence. So that's 2 fast cars, 2 more fast cars that may very well make it out of contention.
I was just about to make a comment about Bulliard, who lost a little track position on that last pit exchange, was running back there in about 14th or so, and they cleaned out a bunch of cars right there in front of him. If he made it through unscathed, he's going to be sitting pretty here in the number 97, showing 20 on your screen.
And that is textbook Jared Bulliard, a very, very kind of, I don't want to call it a relaxed style, but we'll go almost 95% of the race. We won't mention Jared Bulliard, and then he's there at the end of it. So a very good closer in these races. Usually comes home with a very clean race car, completes a lot of laps, and definitely very good at these super speedway races here. And still at the top 10, still in contention. We made mention the only driver in the field here that could potentially end the season with 2, count them, 2 super speedway championships belts. Former Verdane Racing Sim 500 Super Speedway Series champion that you saw unfold live here on Verdane TV just a few seasons ago. Jared going to try and get that championship belt kicked off by restarting P9 right now, and they're all going to be chasing down these Warrior Motorsports trio. Swope, Carpenter, Swope up in the top. Floyd going to run in 4th, and Rob Collier restarting P5. Going to get that restart with 15 laps to go here, Kevin. It's going to get good.
Yeah, this is it. If any restart would tell you with 15 to go, when you start getting, under 20 laps to go in a race like this, you're just thinking track position, track position, track position. You want to be in those top 3 positions coming off of turn 4 to the finish at this racetrack. And these guys are going to be on kill for the remaining laps. They're just going to be completely up as the pace car turns left, turns the field over to Swope, and Swope, and off they go to the start-finish line, hammer down.
Sliding up into the high line, going to get lined up in front of the other teammates, and they'll get hooked up. 1, 2, 3. It looks like not quite as they get into turn number 1, but Elliott Swope holding on to it. 5 car going to move down and bring the teammate. There you go. That's the trio. 1, 2, 3 on the bottom side. Good luck the rest of the field. That's going to be tough to get around those guys.
Floyd's got a good run down the backstretch with a little bit of help. He's going to nose ahead here as they head to turn number 3 with a good bump by Matt Tilder. I was looking to see if he could get down and cover that position. He's going to hold those guys tight down there. Side draft coming out of 4. Got to be careful here.
Hard racing, hard pushing up towards the front. Warrior Motorsports 1, 2, and 3 down on the bottom side. Floyd up top. He's got help with the 2 car. Telder right in behind him. Phenomenal recovery from the 49. Held out in front of the leader for about 20 laps to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Got a quick caution and got himself in racing contention. Racing top 5. Racing for a podium spot here in the season opener here for Liberty Racing League as we work down the backstretch. 14 laps to go. A lot of black and white red cars up towards the front. You can see Collier in the 02 in the mix. Foskey in the 3. Great recovery. Where'd that 18 car come from? Anderson back in the mix.
Yeah, maybe that car is damaged, but when it runs in the draft, it'll pull a dump truck in there and try and do it. This top line just cannot seem to get organized, but if they do, they're going to give these guys a run come the end of it.
Lots of cars still in contention. You can see anybody up in this main pack. Heck, even if somebody in these second or third packs could come home with the victory. Anything can happen in super speedway racing, and anything usually does happen here on Verdane TV. Action Pass Racing all night long. 500 miles to kick off the season, and we are down to 13, check it, 12 and a half laps to go in the Verdane.net 500.
Yeah, this field has broken into a bunch of different pockets of cars. Anybody that's out behind like the 11th position, they're pretty much toast unless a caution comes out, which is a good possibility. But finally, this top line got organized, and they're going to push ahead and try and take this lead.
That was a ready, set, go on the old voice chat. Those drivers pushing as hard as they can. You saw how squirrely they got. They got everything squared away, though. Kept everybody pointed in the right direction. They were able to get 4 or 5 cars now around the Warrior Motorsports trio. Foskey up on the high side, Bollier up there as well. He's up in the P4 position trying to come in with the victory.
Yeah, those first 3 cars went down and abandoned the top, and now they're... Oh, what a shame for the 2.
Down in no man's land, doing a little bit of lawn mowing. Doesn't look like he's up in the racing group, but caution flag does in fact come out, though, with 12 laps to go. Good news for the 2 car. I don't believe the damage was too bad, but that's going to be a lot of track position to try and make up.
Yeah, Paul, we talked about give and take. Well, it's all take right at this point, and these errant contacts running at 200 miles an hour down the backstretch are just inevitable. And fortunate for the 2, he slid through the grass, a little pirouette, maybe a little ding, but for the most part, that car, to your point, doesn't look like it received that much damage.
We'll take a peek at it once again here on the Racing Designs Instant Replay. Focus in on that black and blue number 2 car. Gets up, moves up the racetrack just a little bit, tries to come back down, and unfortunately there's a car there. Goes through the grass, gets it slowed.
No,
no
never
contact.
Thought he nosed it in. How cool is the shadow there for the lights? They go under the Musco lighting.
awesome shot there. I didn't even notice that. That's pretty cool. You can see gets it a little stuck there in the grass. That's fine. He's able to get that car back out of the racetrack. He's going to catch up with the field and get some tires on that thing. Check the sheet metal and make sure that that car is good to go for the finish here. Quick car. It's going to be a tough recovery for that 2 car, but very fast all night long. And it's going to be a different view from up front. Chad Lancaster in the 22 car joining the top 6. Rob Collier, new leader. TJ Floyd in the 49 running second. Jared Bolliard up to P3. How about that? Foskey P4. Michael Carpenter now back in 5th.
I'll tell you, I think that was the coolest effect I've ever seen in the sim. When they scan these racetracks, they get them so accurate. If you've ever been to this racetrack, watch the cars come off of turn 4. It looks exactly like the camera shots that you're seeing. And did you see they released Lincoln Speedway? Our race team goes there once a year around the 4th of July. I am so excited that iRacing continues to add to the catalog, and what a spectacular job they do with the tracks, the cars, and we just saw an example of the lighting that was unprecedented. That was really.
And as the technology gets better and better, and more tracks and cars and vehicles are scanned and put into the iRacing simulator, it just gets better and better as they learn new things as things are added. And trying to put a bug in somebody's ear to get up to north of the wall. Some of our Canadian friends would be cool to see, like an Eastbound Park or Miramichi or one of those racetracks. Lots of Canadian racetracks that would be cool to see in the iRacing service. But before we go up to Canada, we got to finish things up here at Daytona. 10 laps to go. Taking the restart with 9 to go. A lot of fast cars up front. 18, 19 cars on the lead lap. That's 19 cars that can win it on the last lap. Collier, Floyd, Foskey, Bollier, Carpenter, the top 5. Lights are off on the iRacing pace car. Going down pit road for potentially the last corn dog and Coke of the night. Going to be watching these last 10 laps live on Verdane TV. Thank you so much for joining us as we count down the last 10 laps together. And we start with this one. Green flag flies once again. Even restart for the 02 and the 49. Thundering down into turn number 1. The Floyd machine up top. Collier down below. Still tied 2x2 throughout the entire field as they sail into 1.
Yeah, bring me a steering wheel or bring me a trophy. One of those two things. I don't care if it's a steaming pile of junk as long as you're sliding through first. And that's what everybody's got on their mind when you get inside 10 to go. This outside lane gets a good run. and they're going to break it up. I'm kind of surprised that he abandoned it, but you're going to see TJ Floyd jump down on the bottom and cover that. The 3 on the outside trying to get the run. Foskey, he was a lap down not too long ago. Now he's in the hunt for the win here with less than 10 to go.
Lots of big pushes throughout the entire top 15. All these cars want to get better than where they're at. They want to cross the finish line first. Foskey now trying to get side by side. Big wiggle from that 02 Collier down in the bottom side. They go back into turn number 1. Bulliard up into the high side in that purple Yahoo machine. He's all over the back bumper now of Foskey. You can bet that's going to be a big push once they get into the straightaway.
Yeah, massive pushes, massive side drafting. Just it's game on now. These guys they've got the gloves on and they're throwing punches.
Collier and Floyd 1 and 2. Caution flag flies. Trouble on the back of the pack. Couple of cars pointing in the wrong direction and some damage for some of these drivers. Caution flag flies with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, 2 cars got hooked together. They just looks like they couldn't seem to get off of each other. Paul Buchanan in the number 44 got tagged up with the 83. What a turn of events for Laskowski, who was leading a better part of this race earlier on. Just has found misfortune here coming to the end of this event.
You can see a little 3-wide action from EOS Racing Designs. You can see the 44 and the 83 make a little contact, and there you see it, not able to get off each other. And the 2 car gets a piece of the action as well. And not that big of not a huge hit, but definitely a big hit in the track position. And you'll be able to see the 44, the 83. They're going to still be on that lead lap, but they got to come down pit road, get some of that damage kind of worked on just a little bit, and see what it is that they can do with the last handful of laps. And that's all we've got here is a handful of laps, and usually what we like to do here on Vidae TV is we like to talk to some of the drivers under caution. We don't really want to do that because there's a commentary curse. We were talking about it before the show. I really don't want to do that on night 1. So we'll talk to the top 3 drivers, maybe a couple of drivers hanging out down on pit road after the race, and we will definitely be doing some in-race reporting, in-race interviews throughout the season. But we come so long. It's been green flag racing throughout the 500 miles here tonight, so we don't want to give anybody the commentators. And I don't even want to do picks, but I kind of want to do picks.
Yeah, I just in my head right now, I'm having that driver moment for Laskowski. He was sitting backwards there, and for a moment he didn't step on the gas. And I just know that feeling, right? You're in the hunt for a win. You get turned around late in the race, and you're sitting backwards watching all the field go by. And you just have that moment of like, darn it, how did this all go wrong? But yet he just went to pit road. He's getting service for the car. He's going to join back in, and maybe he could muster some sort of proper finish out of this. Who's going to win it? I'm going to go with the flag car, the 22. I just like the look of the car, and that's really the only thing. Let's see if Chad Lancaster can win this thing.
I'm going to go with a Warrior Motorsports. Technically it's 3 cars, but
yeah,
it's 1 pick.
Okay.
Taking a peek, Collier up in the front in the 02 car. Great recovery for he and TJ Floyd. Both cars found themselves down a lap earlier on in this one, battling side by side for the lead in the final, what could be the final restart here. With 5 laps to go, iRacing pace car. There's those lights again. That shadow off the cars down deep into the racetrack coming out of the corner. Very cool effect. Never even would have noticed that had you not brought it up. There goes pace car. Going to grab that corn dog, get Coke. We're going to grab some green flag racing action with 5, count 'em 5, laps to go at Daytona in the Vidae.net 500. And they're side by side as they get up through the gears. A little bit slidey down on the bottom side. Collier not quite getting the start that he wanted. TJ Floyd with the advantage, going to slide on down and take the lead from Collier.
Yeah, Floyd, same playbook as last time. Got the push out from the top side, dived down, covered that bottom line. Wants to be down there on the yellow as he's going to have the favor repaid to him. And it's going to be Foskey jumping out in front. And here comes Kenningston to the outside.
Big bump to the 3 car from the 49. Floyd letting him know he's there. He wants to get back up to the lead, but right now he's going to push that 3 car to get that front line the advantage, to get them closer to the front, to try and get them down and around. Coming to the start finish line. 4 laps to go. Kennington in the 933 around the outside, making it look easy with the big push from the 84, the Motorsports, Warrior Motorsports machine, the 82. Big push on the back bumper, trying to get that high side to go, and it's evenly matched between those 2 lines, Kevin. But it seems like everybody's trying to tighten up here with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, if you find a hole, you have to take it. And as tight as these cars are, you're in the best position if you're Foskey or Keniston, Floyd and them out front, because out back, oh my gosh, it's just a mess out here.
Races within races, people racing for position, everybody trying to come home with a $100 bill, with a victory, with a trophy, and shot at a championship belt, and we're going to get ourselves one more opportunity to re-rack them, restack them for a green-white finish. Looks like another 2-car incident in the back of the pack. I believe Mark Brown involved in this one.
Yeah, it might have had something to do with getting pushed up to the high side. Mark Brown got tagged against the wall, and unfortunately Kevin West, who's just had an abysmal last quarter of this race, no place for him to go.
As we back up to UHAS Racing Designs instant replay, a little bit of 3-wide action in the mix in this one. We're going to take a look at it from the blimp because there's a lot going on all the way around the racetrack. And you can see focus in and right-hand side of your screen. You can see racing all the way around, almost right in the center of your screen. The 73 gets a little piece of the action. The 52 up in there as well. And I think the 83 gets by, so that's good news there. But, man, it seems like once these cars get the sheet metal kind of tangled in with another car, it's tough to break apart. As you can see, there's another one of those instances of 52 just kind of rolling backwards, and that's the deep exhale, deep inhale, and let's gather this thing back up and see what we can muster up for a finish.
Yeah, it's not as evident when you see these long camera shots that we have of what it's like, indicative inside the car. The car is running right on the edge of traction as you go through that corner at 200 plus miles an hour. The wind is buffeting the car, you're moving around, and it takes just a momentary slide for you to go up into the car next to you. And you know, again, at the end we saw how tight everybody was running. It was almost inevitable, and I was kind of hoping they could keep it clean and green, but not surprised to see this at this juncture.
Just over 3 hours into this one, these drivers have been racing for a long time. A lot of the sim racing leagues here at Daytona will run for maybe 65, 70, 80 laps or so. A full 500 miles to kick off the season on a Tuesday night. Tall order for all these drivers. 34 call drivers making the call, taking the green flag here in this one, and taking a look at the timing and scoring. 18 remain on the lead lap, and we're going to be getting the restart here with a green-white checkered action going a little bit into overtime. It looks like here for this one, going to end up an extra lap or 2 on the board, but after you run 500 miles, what's another lap?
What's another lap? I agree with you. So before this comes to a close, just have to apologize to all these drivers if we pronounce their names wrong. First time seeing a lot of them. Try to do our best here, Paul, especially trying to call them quick, but I don't think they care what they are called as long as they get to win this race. For a couple of them, they have positioned themselves really well. Collier sitting there in third. Always seems like that third position is one of the best places to be in a green-white checker. Let's see how this goes. Keniston has been really strong the last 20 laps. The Swope duo got broken up. We see the 82 hanging in there still. Matt, where Elliott was leading the charge earlier and is relegated back to 11th. I was watching Elliott try and find a lane. Just couldn't seem to get that opening, and then the caution came out. Who knows? We've done enough of these together, Paul, that you can win from 11th sometimes, these races, so don't count them out yet.
Yeah, coming to the green flag. Always like to make mention how many cars are on the lead lap, because at these plate track races, the super speedways, anybody on that lead lap can come home with the victory here. And we're all lined up 2 by 2 all the way through. Jason Foskey in the 3 car going to restart down on the bottom side. Great recovery for that 3 car. Great recovery for the 49. He's restarting outside. P2, TJ Floyd in that green machine. Stayed out in front of the pack for almost 20 laps to get back on the lead lap and has a phenomenal recovery as he's now battling for the lead here with a green-white checkered finish. And you can see 18 drivers lined up 2 by 2 all the way through. Collier, Keniston, Swope up in the top 5. Carpenter, Telder in the 2, back up to P7. Jax Duval Crawl, P8. Jarrett Bolliard up in the mix in P9. And Nick McClellan rounding out the top 10. 18 drivers on the lead lap. And it all comes down to this one. $100 on the line, and the very first win of the season is on the line. And the iRacing lights on the iRacing pace car, they're off once again.
Yeah, in the playbook, we've seen Floyd jump out and then drive down and take over the lead on that bottom line for the last 2 restarts. I'm not sure if he has the same level of help this one, but let's see how he plays this one. As the pace car about to relinquish the field to the number 3, Jason Foskey now looking at the starter, waiting for what could be the final green flag of this event. We're underway.
Getting up through the gears, Foskey making sure the tires stick to the ground and does a phenomenal job with the restart. Pulls away by about car length. Side by side for second, though. Collier in the 0-2, down the bottom side. Floyd in the machine up on the high side, has a little bit of help. And the 82 to 5, they're up in the mix here as well. But we've got popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go here at Daytona.
Should be a gun run to the outside, unfortunately for Floyd.
Trouble in the back.
Yep, there's 1 car sideways, 2 cars. Once, twice.
3 times.
Yeah.
Precaution action going to set us up, it looks like, for another green light checker. Restart here. We'll do a little road course action with the Napa car. And then we'll watch it going in reverse. Taking a look at the U-House Racing Design Instant Replay. And these drivers, they know this race, it's a long race at this point, and everybody getting kind of tired after 11 o'clock here on the East Coast, and just getting down to the end of it. And everything they need to, and there's a little bit of contact. These drivers going for the same piece of real estate, it looks like, and hard hit for the 18 out on the outside, the 24. Almost, it gets a little tap there to, I believe that's a 5 car, a Carpenter. Good job getting it straightened out. Took the road course here. We'll watch that once again. Coming on down, making sure that those tires are cleaned off the racing surface. Commendable effort by the 4 car, but going to be tough to get that thing back up towards the front. Currently the last car on the lead lap, the 18, that's parking down on pit road. Up front, still Foskey holding on to the lead for right now. Floyd in second, Collier, P3, Swope and Keniston, the top 5.
If you're out front, you thought you had the way to get to the finish here. You didn't want to see that caution. You know how that goes, right? You get the restart of your life. You're not sure whether or not that's going to pay off the next time they drop the green rag. And, you know, you're really frustrated. Or if you didn't get a good start, you're happy because you get a reset. And maybe this time you're going to get the start you need in order to win this. All kinds of mental games go on in your head at this time, Paul, as you get these green-white checkers.
And it turns into a bit of a poker match. Which restart do you do? Do you go a little bit early? Do you wait until the last second? Lots of different ways you could go about the restart here, and we've seen a couple of different ways from Foskey, but man, it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm still impressed with the recovery for both the 3 and the 49 car. Both cars again, 1 lap down at one point here in this one earlier on. We're able to get back on the lead lap. Here they are battling side by side now for the lead. Second attempt here now at a green-white checkered. Going extra distance in the longest race we've ever done here on Verdane TV. But it's going to be great to follow these drivers here in the Liberty Racing League each and every Tuesday night here on Verdane TV as they find themselves a Super Speedway Series champion and find out who is going to come home with that championship belt at the end of the season. But green-white checkered attempt, number 2. Lights are still on the iRacing pace car. Got another moment or two for these drivers to think about what they can potentially do to try and get around who's in front of them.
You get one driver, Donovan Jarrett, is now 1 lap down, so That did not pay out well for him. He's going to have to just get whatever he can at this point. Again, the rest of these drivers somewhere, even if you're in the top 10, think you can win this thing.
And a little bit of a war of attrition starting to kind of take effect here, as it looks like there's about 13 or so cars kind of in this lead pack as the lights are off in the iRacing pace car. 17 cars on the lead lap. There's a couple of cars down on pit road kind of getting some damage worked on, and maybe getting some last minute repairs to see what they can kind of muster up for the finish. But there's still 10 to 12 good, solid, strong cars in this race that can come home with the victory. But they're all going to have to try and get around Foskey, and we showed that late going in this one. The 3, the 49, very quick up in that front row.
Yeah, the 18 of Bobby Anderson had quite amount of contact over there on the backstretch in that latest incident. He's still in the lead lap, running in 16th, but as much as we've seen that car get hammered all night long, he's still in the mix here. Just don't know if he has enough speed to get up there and contend for the win that far back.
The lights are off in the pace car. We're lined up 2 by 2, and we're going down into turn 3 and 4. And these drivers know that they've battled all night long, survived over 500 miles now. So we're working lap 203 across the stripe into 204 here. A little extra distance, going the extra distance here. And the Verdane.net 500. Be sure to get your sweatshirts. Verdane.net. Use that promo code Liberty for 10% off. But before we get that done, got to get this race in, and you can see side by side, that bottom side seems to be a little bit packed together a little bit neatly, more neatly down on the bottom side than the high side. I think that's going to play a factor here in this restart.
Yeah, here we go. These guys are on kill right now. They know that these green, white checkered stack up, they're going to run out of time. Is this going to be the one that takes them to the finish, or they're going to have one more incident? It's hard to say, but everybody's on the loud pedal getting ready as the green comes out and coming up to speed. Great restart for the inside, but do you want to break away at this point, Paul?
Tough to say. 2 laps to go. Once again, great start for Foskey. Breaks out by a couple of car lengths. You can see Collier tucks into the back bumper. He's got some protection down on the bottom side, but Floyd Machine up on the top side, doing some side drafting, running some fenders, rubbing some paint, trying to get everything he can out of that 49 car and that high line. Big push now. We've got a third line up on the high side trying to make a little magic happen as they go into turns 3 and 4 for what could be one of the final times here.
And we got a car sideways around and multiple cars crashing in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Yellow going to come out, and we will exercise the right to do that final green-white checkered as they didn't make it back to the line.
There you can see one of the cars 42 involved in that one. We pull up the U-House Racing Design instant replay as a late night. It's just a little bit later. As caution flag flies again, we rack them, stack them once again for green white checkered action, and starting to get a little bit of frustration in the voice of some of these drivers here on the voice communications. They know it's getting late. They've been racing for a long time, and tensions are hot, and it's starting to show just a little bit on the track. But you can see 3 wide action all the way through, looks like, and focus in a 42 up into the outside wall, and then the 35 and 12 make contact in behind them. So a couple of almost separate incidents. So you see Anderson in the 18 getting a piece of it as well. So getting late into this one, chalk it up as a racing deal. But man, getting starting to run out of laps and starting to run out of cars that have damage, or that don't have damage rather.
Yeah, this racetrack leads to 2 wide racing, no problem. 3 wide's a little bit tenuous, and you know, if you're running 3 wide and you're the car on the bottom, you've got to be right down there on that yellow line. If you're not aware that there's 2 other cars out there, everybody squeezes together like a smashed loaf of white bread there. Unfortunately for Nathan Brown, he was in that mix and got a little piece of that, and yeah, we're going to rack them, stack them, and pack them for one more restart. Final one, though.
Racing action throughout the evening. Very impressed with the style of racing here with the Super Speedway Series. These guys definitely know what it is they're doing and how to get around these great big Super Speedway tracks. And we've seen teammates work together. We've seen different manufacturers, different drivers work together here throughout the night, and it's awesome to see how everything kind of unfolds here. Doesn't seem like fuel mileage is going to be a factor, even with the extra couple of laps here tacked on to the end of the scheduled 500-mile distance. But Verdane.net jumping on board here with the sponsorship. And be sure to check out Verdane.net. Grab all your T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, all that good stuff. Liberty Racing League jumping in the old Verdane Racing virtual merchandise trailer. So check that out, Verdane.net. Promo code Liberty gets you 10% off. And these drivers getting into the final racing hours, the racing moments here, and it's one of those things where sitting back, watching the race, calling the action, I'm still a little bit loose. These drivers, they've been white-knuckle racing for over 500 miles here at this point, over 3 hours, over 3.5 hours now. Definitely going to be getting physically tired here and mentally tired.
This is where you get that shot of adrenaline, Paul. You know that it doesn't matter how tired you are. This is it. This is your chance right here. It all comes down to this. You're having Eminem run through your head here.
100%, and everybody's starting to get lined up 2 by 2 once again. We're going to take that green-white checkered. Once again, the lights are off on that pace car, so we're going to get at least one more restart, and still a handful of drivers, about a dozen or so drivers that can still win this one as we look through timing and scoring and get everything kind of sorted out here. Thank you so much for joining us and sticking with us here on Verdane TV, Liberty Racing League, race number 1 here this season. Kicking things off, $100 going to the winner here tonight, and a championship belt going to the champion at the end of the 12-race season. And you'll be able to follow along each and every Tuesday night right here live on Verdane TV. I want to thank everybody tuning in here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Be sure to give us that like, subscribe, and share, the follow, all that good stuff. It helps us out, and it lets your friends and family know that you're watching a little high racing action on, almost Wednesday morning here on the East Coast. But we're getting there, and we're being entertained all along the way here. Awesome show here with these guys. 500 miles to kick the season off on a Tuesday night, and it's right here live on Verdane TV.
Yeah, we love it when you chime in and say hello to us. Shout out to Bobby Gibson, to the Nexus Sim Racing Team, Threat Level Midnight Motorsports over there saying hello on YouTube, watching the event. Hope you're enjoying it, and we're about to get the job done here. Next flag is the final flag, Paul. Well, we're going to see. These drivers know that they pass or whatever, because the next caution could be the spell for you. So I'll tell you, these guys, they're ready to go.
100%, and we're getting the video feed, trying to sort it all out here as we get green flag racing once again. Collier gets the start that he needs on the high side. He's going to try and do everything he can to hold on that position, but look how hard everybody's pushing all the way through that pack of 22. Breaks out all the way up into the outside line. 3 wide for the second position. They hold on to it. They're wrecking behind them. Everybody but Collier.
Collier clearly out. Every single car has crashed behind them. Physically, I don't know that we could have seen that one coming.
Yeah, getting into the final races. We apologize for the video feed doing its thing here. We have to get that all sorted out. We'll get that restacked and re-racked and see if we can get that back up. But that's set in the race. That's the final green-white checkered, correct?
That's it, yeah. The 3 got high, got into the side of TJ Floyd, turned the 82 sideways from the bottom all the way across the racetrack. Nosed it in, and then you had about, and everybody physically piled in. It looked like one of those monumental Talladega Daytona styled races. There were cars on top of other cars, stacked and packed, 2, 3, 4 abreast, all heading to the wall, coming back across the racetrack to the yellow line and the apron, and there was no avoiding it. The track completely blocked. Just about everybody behind it crashed in. But in the end, well, what are you going to say? Collier got away cleanly, and it is Rob Collier for the win here tonight. What a job he did to get out there and break away and secure the win here in this 500-miler.
Yeah, going a little extra distance here tonight as we are going to be crossing the stripe for 210 laps here at Daytona. Rob Collier going to come home with the victory, and we'll get timing and scoring. It doesn't look like we have any cars to score and time, so we'll get that all sorted out. It's going to end up being across this line here. Who's able to cross, but we definitely see our victor there under caution, but still a win nonetheless. Rob Collier coming home with the victory. The 22 car of Chad Lancaster going to finish in second, I believe, and that 5 car going to come home in a third. That's going to be Michael Carpenter, and we'll get the full rundown of all the finishing drivers here momentarily, but man, Big Boss Man Wes, not the race you were looking for in your car, but all in all, one hell of a show here tonight, brother.
You know, Paul, I can't really complain with the first half of this race, or even the half, or 3/4 of this race was awesome. It really was awesome. Congratulations to our winner here tonight as well. Top 3, I'm going to talk to him for us. Rob Collier, Chad Lancaster, as well as Michael Carpenter. All 3 of those, that was awesome. A lot of strategy played in this race. Unfortunately, my internet decided to do an update 7 laps in, so that pinned me double digits down. But somehow we fought from a 30th to 24th to doing that. Just a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys calling this as well.
Great show tonight as the winner, Rob Collier, burning them down there, and you can see the finishing order coming up there on your screen. And Kevin, I believe you're down there in victory lane with tonight's winner of the O2 car.
Yeah, Rob, I'm not sure if you're aware of the melee, and it doesn't really matter. You're here in victory lane in Daytona after a full-length race and a bunch of chances to get beat at the end. You come away the victor. How great does it feel to win at Daytona?
Feels pretty damn good, especially spending half the race a lap down after iRacing didn't put any fuel in my car in the first pit stop.
You know, we were chronicling that race 4, trying to get back to the Lucky Dog, and saw you get that. And then once you were there, you just methodically picked through. Were you trying to ride to save the car, or were you trying to run once you were there?
So with how the practice race went, I just wanted to be up front. Less chance of that entire melee happening to me. So that was the entire goal. Even to get the Lucky Dog, it's like I wanted to be like right next to the leader with how things were spreading out.
Do you have any idea how big that crash was behind you at the finish?
I'm pretty sure it was the whole field.
Yeah, pretty much so. Was there anybody you were working with in particular, or you just pick and choosing whoever was, trying to help you?
I was on my own tonight, so it was basically whoever was strong. I really liked running with the 2. Forgot who was in there. Me and him were actually able to hook up, and I think we could have pulled away from the pack if I really pushed it.
Yeah, Matt Telder was coupled to you quite a few times in that race, and you're right. You 2 of you look like you had the pairing going very well there for yourselves.
From the way it looked, me and him were the ones that could really actually make the top lane move efficiently. So yeah, it was fun running with him. But other than that, it's like whoever was there. And then I would get frustrated with some ribbons in the fan action throughout the field. Just everyone zigzagging all over the place. But overall, I can't complain. Came home winner.
Could you picture coming away with the victory on the, when you come in and you see the strength of this field and how hard it is to get one of these victories against a field like this? How satisfying is it to come away with a win?
Feels damn good.
There's no better way to start the season, that's for sure.
Yep. And really want to thank Wes for putting this together and messaging me to come jump on. I did have a lot of fun, besides some of the frustrations being vented in the chat. But overall, thanks, Wes, for throwing us on, and thanks, guys, for broadcasting this race. I hope you guys had a good time watching it as we had running it.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. And you're the initial Liberty Racing League victor for the first event. We'll give you a moment. Anybody else you want to say hi to, give a shout out to, thank your sponsors?
Let's see. First, thank the wife for letting me do this. So now I get to go buy her a nice dinner on Thursday night. So got that to look forward to. thank my team guys and NSR. They sat there and spotted for me throughout the race and did some crew chiefing. So that little bit extra just helped things out. And yeah, and thanks again to you guys.
Yeah, we didn't discuss that, but how does it feel? You're going to go buy dinner with this victory money, huh?
Yep.
That's always a nice little bonus to consider. Was that in your mind as you were coming to the finish?
Yeah. I was like, yep. Get to take the wife out to a nice dinner. So.
Well, there you go. Mission accomplished. Go enjoy it, Rob. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
Victory pulled off by Rob Collier and Paul Strickland. I guess we're going to chat with Chad.
Yeah, Chad Lancaster in the 22 car coming home in P2 and bringing the Stars and Stripes home on the podium. A good run for the 22 car. Saw you up in the top 10 for a little bit, but finished on top, man. What was going through your mind with that final wreck on that final green light checkered?
No idea what happened. I know that whoever was below me, it looked like, came up into me, and then all I saw was doors and wall. So I don't know how I made it through and got the second place there, but I got lucky. That's for sure.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and looking good doing it there in P2. And got to give you an opportunity here. Coming home, solid points night here tonight as we kick the season off here on Verdane TV. Who makes it happen for you for the virtual 22 machine? Who gets you to and from the racetrack?
Yeah, my sponsor, LandonCNSB.com, and you know, you guys did a great job broadcasting. I heard the broadcast was pretty good, and thanks for putting the league on, Liberty Racing League, and I'm excited to continue on to the rest of the league.
Going to be a heck of a show next Tuesday night. A little bit shorter event at Talladega and the Xfinity cars, and we look forward to seeing potentially that 22 car up front. But a good run here tonight. Solid second place finish.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And just a little bit further down the old virtual pit road, Michael Carpenter is with Kevin England.
Yeah, Michael, surprising finish at the end. Not where you want to be. You want to be over there where the victory lane is, but you'll take a third place finish, I'm guessing, after the way that played out there in turn number 2.
Yeah, for sure. It was me and my IWM teammates, Elliot and Matt Swope. We had a pretty good strategy. I mean, we laid back, running 15th or so, just within arm's reach of the lead pack, just letting all that stuff play out. And then the last 50 laps raced, we were up front the whole time. There, that last 50. Just didn't, just the way it shook out, just wasn't the way I wanted it, but I'm happy with third.
It looked like you and the Swoops had things well under control until they broke you up a little bit, but the good news is you got a third and a fourth out of it, at least for a couple of you. I got to say, and if you have a chance, Elliot did an amazing job driving through that. He didn't get the score that he wanted, but if he goes back and looks at the replay, he cut left, drove down on the apron. I'm not sure if you saw him go by, but he's about the only one that cleared that entire finish. But what a crazy finish. How did that feel when you saw just everybody sideways in a pile of smoke?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming. I mean, those last two restarts prior to the last one there, I mean, it was getting kind of dicey. Everybody's pushing like you would expect. So I knew it was coming. I was just hoping we would get through it. I'm glad Elliot made it through it like he did. I hate Matt got caught up in it, but it was a good finish for us all. We all had a good run tonight.
Not a bad way to start the season. Third place finish as you head into next week, and it was a good showing for your team. It bodes well for you for the rest of the season, and we want to give you a moment to give a little shout out. Anybody want to say hello to, give a wave to, thank a sponsor? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd just like to, my appreciation to iRacing Warriors Motorsports, Tech for Troops, which is one of our sponsors, and Elite Performance Industries, one of our sponsors, where they've really helped us out with our program, and also everybody on my team, Elliot and Matt Swope and Freddie Durstock. It was a great race, guys, and I really appreciate Wes for putting this on, man. It's a blast.
Universal love for Wes Hogan, but who doesn't love Wes Hogan? Thanks for that, and go chat with your friends, and thanks for putting on a good show for us tonight. We really enjoyed watching you guys.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Yes, so Paul, In the end, the crazy finished with a massive pileup over there in turn 2. We got to talk to our top 3, but it doesn't speak to how good the run was for several of these drivers, and it bodes well for the next couple weeks as we start into this season. These guys put on a heck of a show here for.
Yeah, 100%. So we've seen Liberty Racing League a couple of times here on Verdane TV. I believe this is the first full-time season that we're going to be able to follow along and watch all the stories unfold and find out who's going to get crowned with that championship belt at the end of the season. But Kevin, want to thank you specifically for jumping on in, helping me out here for this race. Long night here at Verdane TV. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, all the social media outlets. We're on all of them. Come out and find us, and you'll be able to find out when we're going live next. That's going to be tomorrow night as Tim's Corner Motorsports brings us Tim's Corner Live, episode number 84 already, I believe. A big TCM 300 coming up at the end of the week, and NAP coming back here for the Revere Brewing Company Beer Bash 65 this Thursday night. Don't want to miss that as well. But we will catch you on the flip side when we do. We are going to be doing it live.